Is there anything else? No action. Okay. Okay. Hey. Gotta be. Discussing the.
Good evening.
Oh, PMA issue.
Wait, yeah.
Publicly noticed meeting.
Is it really?
Yeah,
We are.
Publicly noticed meeting.
Oh,
Not for them, for us.
oh, yeah, no, I know. You have
Yes.
1, 2,
And
3.
yeah,
Yeah, you have a form.
I have a quorum.
Yes.
Notice of time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting to the extent known was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting pursuant to the provision of the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of all meetings in 2026 was provided to the required publications on December 10th, 2025. May you all rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The purpose of Millburn Special Improvement District. Yeah. Now it's on. The purpose of Millburn Special Improvement District is to promote, grow, and support local businesses, property owners, residents, and visitors, and to encourage the economic, cultural, and social vitality of the township through increased marketing and visibility, improved and renewed infrastructure, and local business development and engagement. The Millburn SID is one of approximately 100 in the state of New Jersey and is one of 29 designated Main Street, New Jersey communities. Mr. Grillo, will you please take the roll?
Jackie Benjamin Lieberberg.
Here.
Christine Best.
Here.
Omar Buckingham.
Present.
Ashley Schultz. Ben Stoller.
Yes.
Alex Altsman. Here. Richard Wasserman. You have a quorum.
Thank you. May I have an approval of the February 2026 public sessions attachment 1 in your packet? May I have approval of those minutes? May I have a second? May I have a roll call, please?
Jackie Lieberberg.
Yes.
Ashley Schultz. Ben Stoller. Alex Altsman. Yes. Richard Wasserman. Motion carries.
Thank you. This evening, I'd like to welcome Dante Bell of Be Real, which is City Real Online Business Directory / Municipal Intelligence Platform, to make a presentation.
Very
Would you
good.
like to add anything to that prior to?
Yes, just a brief introduction. So as we've talked a little bit, Explore is working through a rebrand as well as a website improvement effort. Part of the work is to make our business directory on our website more functional and more engagement focused. So right now it was the original iteration from 2020. It's just a standard static list. And so a lot of improvement districts and communities as a whole have been looking at proactive business-driven directories. And so I've had some conversations with Dante, who's with City Real. I was introduced to him by the bid director in Springfield. They're currently using his services. And so tonight is just a presentation on what their platform offers. There's no intention to vote or to award any contract. We are working through some functionality questions with our website manager, New Frontier. Certainly want to make sure that whatever updates we make on our website can be supported or can work within the forum or the function that City Real has. So tonight is just an information session. I've asked Mr. Bell to speak for about 10 minutes and then have a Q&A.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
The floor is yours, Mr. Bell.
I'll be your timekeeper, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing us to be here. My name is Dante Bell, I'm co-founder of Vero. Vero is the company, City Real is the product. And we are so excited to be powering several cities, municipalities throughout the state of New Jersey. As Steve mentioned, we're powering Springfield. If you go to springfieldbid.com, you will be able to see how we integrate into their website. And Springfield's offering the whole marketplace. So they're offering a directory, they're offering deals, rewards, and we're tracking participation. What you have in front of you, I gave you a brochure. on that brochure, the QR code in front of that brochure, we like to have an interactive presentation. So if you could scan that with your phone, what that will do, that will bring up the Millburn marketplace. And with that marketplace, you will see that we have a visibility focus, like Steve mentioned. It's an interactive experience. And with that experience, we are focused on three things, research, planning, and execution for municipalities. From the research perspective, we recognize that many municipalities don't know the number of businesses that they have to see their full picture. So what we do is with AI, we crawl the internet, and unlike Google or Yelp that brings back businesses near me, we bring back only businesses in Millburn. And you're gonna see that listing, and that's all of Millburn that you're seeing. Steve gave us a list of about 530 businesses that he pointed out, and we can scale that back to the 530, but you'll see when you scan this QR code, we brought back, well, I'll give you a number. How many businesses do you think there are in all of them? Anybody want to take a guess at that?
1,000.
1,000? Anybody else?
That's like, what, 5?
I actually would agree with Mr. Ceruto. I think 1,000 is the number.
Over 1,800.
Okay.
You have over 1,800. So when you scan that, you'll be able to traverse, all those businesses, and the largest category is service. And a lot of times, services is kind of an invisible category, but that's what really drives the economy. And that has all the realtors, plumbers, electricians, doctors, lawyers, everybody's under that component. And so our whole thing is to see the full picture. And with that, you also have business types. And this is another trivia question I like to run. How many different business types do you think are part of that 1,800 businesses? Business types.
30.
172, I think the number is. Approximately 171 business types. So that's what we, focus on is, being able to show you your inventory of businesses, throughout Millburn, and being able to visually give them visibility. For example, for Springfield, one of the first things we do after giving visibility is we do what we call verification calls. And we have a call center, and we call every business to validate their booking. We bring back who's the main point of contact. We get their email and cell phone number if possible, to be able to build a rapport with these businesses, showing them that we're here to support them as we move forward. As part of that verification call, we also provide a verification email. And that verification email includes their login credentials for each business, because each business can update and manage their listing. So if they want to change their hours of operation, if they want to change their photos, change their videos, they're able to do that, with that login. And so, and in addition to the login, as part of the verification email, there's also a support number where they can call our team and we walk them through how to update and manage their information. So that's the first part of it. As an addition, we also track participation. So from the research level, now we talk about planning, what's happening, who's doing what in the community. So if there's a bar crawl or festival, whatever type of event, you can create an event within the CityReal platform, and you can have check-ins. So the participants, the resident visitors can check into different locations, and we track that with the leaderboard technology, and you have now metrics on who's doing what and where. And in addition to the participation tracking, we also have the ability to offer deals. And each of the businesses, as part of the verification call, we also mentioned, do you have a promotion that you'd like to make the residents aware of? And if they say yes, spend 20, save 5, then we can activate that promotion. And we track that as well as participation within the platform. So, from the aspect of research, you see the full picture. Planning, we're giving you all the tracking for participation, and then execution of it. This is not a one-time stamp of time. This is ongoing and continuous every day. So these are deals every day. This is participation every day. And you have the ability, from Millburn's perspective, to have the ability to log in and track all these activities, all these analytics and metrics. So our goal with our technology is to support your website, to give you website functionality that drives visibility for your business. And that's really, a high level presentation relevant to what we did.
So, can you just walk me through the workflow, like, I understand this is a link that I go to on my phone. How does this connect to the universe of like Millburn?
Yes.
I don't get it.
This is what Steve was
Yeah.
basically saying, that you can integrate these listings or this guide into the Millburn website. So
Got it.
people-
So the guy goes to the website,
Yes,
and then, so what, and then what?
and then you do a campaign or you do a social media announcement that, you can go to the marketplace to see all that's available in Millburn. And then from there, the residents and visitors, that's where they go to access the information.
Okay, so your content appears on the Explore website, is it going to be integrated with it?
Yes,
And then are you trying to drive traffic to the actual businesses? What's the, like, it's more than a directory, like, there's a lot more stuff going on here.
Right.
It's like a directory, but it's like 10 times better than, I get that, so the intent is for people to go to the Explore River website, then click on a link about the businesses that are here, and then within each business, you can do stuff.
correct,
See deals and all the other things, gotcha.
correct. So if you go to springfieldbid.com,
Yeah.
if you'd like to do that right now, you will, and click on Marketplace on springfieldbid.com, you will see exactly what it is. If you want to pull it up on the screen.
Oh, that would be great.
So what's the business model, what's the, does the business pay, or do you guys?
Oh, businesses never pay. It's only the bid pays for all the businesses to have visibility on the
They're
market,
paying to have a directory on their website that's a little bit more than directory, or the service.
the marketplace.
It's almost
It's like
like,
Facebook Marketplace.
it's almost like the Angie's List of the businesses in the city, right?
Correct.
Or what, but it's been
Well,
rebranded. over-
Angie's List is a little different, because you're actually asking for a service. This is more of like a premium way of viewing your business directory.
Well, the businesses are services.
No, I'm just saying like what is there?
Springfieldbid.com.
I think that what.
Wait, one second, okay.
I was just
Let-
trying to layer on, sorry.
No, so let's take your question.
Yeah.
and
No,
let's
no,
take your
yeah,
question.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to monopolize the.
No, I was just trying to layer on and kind of where he's really trying to ask the question is like, this is a back end layering into the website. But also not only are you going to back end it into our site and do all these metric trackings, et cetera, you're also going to have a front end experience at City Real where somebody can go and search and do metadata for Millburn Township. Is that how it's gonna be?
Absolutely
I
correct.
just want to understand, because that's what, I think you were looking for that question.
Right, so on Springfield's website, this is their website, and you'll see that if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see that there are 6 categories, food and drink. That's embedded and managed by
I
us
got you.
on the
I got
back
you.
end, but it's integrated into the website. Now, from that, a person can basically do a few things. So if they're if there's an event, like a festival, and you have vendors at the event, you can create an event in the background and assign 17 of those businesses to that event and say, when you get to that event, check in, scan the QR code. And now you can track participation for whoever it may be with a leaderboard that can give, dinner for 2 or whatever it may be. But to answer your question, this is a visual representation of every business that you represent.
So does this have any impact on search engine optimization? People looking for like restaurants in Millburn, you guys have any impact on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So all the data is SEO driven as well as your own. So what's different about this scenario, if someone goes on to Google right now and types in restaurants near me,
Yeah.
Millburn does not get that data. Right? If they go to Yelp and do it, Millburn does not get that data. You have now your own AI powered search engine that will bring back your metrics to your residents, but your data about who's doing what and what they're looking for, what's the intent.
I was looking more from like, because the Explore Builder website doesn't get a lot of traffic. So you know, if this plugin is the technology helps with search engine optimization and helping find businesses that are in Millburn, presumably they're being driven, the traffic is being driven to the Explore website, right? Is that how it works? Is that
Yes.
how- Right?
And social media.
And social media. And like, how do you guys, because there's some stuff here that's like kind of outdated, how do you guys update, how do you like, I mean, there's like a lot of businesses here, like some of them are not here anymore.
Right, this is
Yeah.
what we pulled back.
Yeah,
Millburn customizes this portal to represent you. So, and on a monthly basis, when you come on board, we have an agent that runs out, and if anything is closed, we bring it back. And that can be set to run every 2 weeks or every month. So our technology in the back end will manage new openings
yeah.
and closures without you having to do anything to manage that.
I guess it would be beneficial if we really just upcharge traffic. I mean, that's the, that's a
Well,
big deal.
yeah. But the
Awareness.
question, oh, go ahead, Debbie. I just
No.
forgot.
And we have the selection criteria to put what business, so are non-bid businesses in here too? I just, or is that all subject to verification of ourselves?
It's all subject to how you want to customize it to reflect what you represent. So Steve gave me a list of 530 businesses. And a spreadsheet,
Yeah, 530, but only in the bid.
right, only bid,
So
so,
anything that's not,
right,
anything that's not in the bid that's appearing on what you're looking at would have been, I guess, from a Google search that you did.
right. So we brought back everything, but it can be segmented to represent whatever you wish.
Yeah. that was-
You're in total control of the visibility of what the Millburn and Short Hills residents see.
Got it.
I have a question in regards to, so how do you differentiate sort of the net end exposure, like for people converting using this type of platform versus, building in a whole metadata structure, back end into our site that's not affiliated and having just a developer do that? I'm just trying to understand, the expenses associated with both and the net outcome, because is it that you feel like if you can put metadata out into the Google universe to drive people to our site without using you? So I'm trying to understand what it is that you do that for Mavericks off.
So we pull back all the metadata for all the listings that you select to be represented, right? As it relates to hours of operation, as it relates to, map directions, as it relates to being able to call, as it relates to all the key elements to follow. You can also have, if you turn on the deals, you have a follow component where you can do push notifications to those who follow you for a deal. So if you are a restaurant and it's 3 o'clock and you say how much traffic, then you can send out a push notification, coming before, 3 o'clock, and you will get free dessert, 50% off advertising.
And they can work that, like understanding your platform, they can actually manage that, the merchant themselves? Like,
Oh, yes.
So Steve doesn't have to be, like, I just followed without all that stuff.
Exactly. Part of the verification call, we asked about the promotion. If they do have a promotion, that's when we introduce the capabilities. And when they log in on the back end with the username and password, that's where they can manage all their deals and rewards. You can also offer rewards. Come in 10 times and get a 2-liter soda. They can offer rewards as well as deals within the technology. All tracked and managed on the back end by you. So you can go in and say, what happened this week? And it will tell you, what participation happened for the festival, how many deals were redeemed, who redeemed the deal, the whole lot.
So the business, because I have a business in town, but it's not on here, sorry. Let's say it was on there, right?
Mhm.
I log in and then what am I doing? I'm putting a deal in and then I'm hoping that like the SEO impact will generate traffic that these people to this website. Then they click on my business and then you see the deal. Like I don't see any yet, right?
Right, so what is your business?
It's a fitness studio.
Fitness studio, okay. So let's say if you wanted to offer a promotion, a free lesson on, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You can put that deal into the system, and if those people are following you, they would get that instant notification email that's available to them
Follow me where?
on the website. So they can go on to Springfield's website,
Right.
and they can follow each one of those businesses
How do they follow them?
by clicking the heart icon. So if you click on 30 burgers,
But then what happens?
It's like an Airbnb moment.
what was that?
So like, do they create an account?
Yes. Each
Oh,
person-
the consumer creates the account?
Yes,
So if you're gonna go to the Explore Millburn website, see your area of the website.
right. You want the deal, you click the deal, it says register, create your account, and when you create your account,
Oh, I
now,
got it, okay.
yes.
And so do you,
Yeah.
the other benefit, I'm assuming, the other benefit, I'm assuming, is that you have a front-facing experience that I could actually, I will be captured if I'm just searching on something in Millburn. Will I be redirected to our homepage, or am I going to be redirected to your homepage when I'm doing search? And capture that, and then somehow, how does that whole,
Everything
process
goes to
work?
exploremillburn.shorthill.
it automatically, so it's all
Yeah,
back-ended?
It's all,
Okay.
once you get integrated into your website, everything goes to there. You don't come to us. We are managing on the back end.
Did he tell you what platform they're using, all that stuff, so you know what we have, I don't know. what we use.
Yes, WordPress, we
You guys can integrate with that,
No problem.
issue.
How many other clients do you have besides the town of Springfield?
We have Springfield, Plainfield, Pompton Lakes, Barrington. There's several, we prepare several.
And what's the incremental increase that you've seen in the townships that you've taken over, or like just in year one? In their sales, or just overall, I mean, just overall like that, you know, just top line it, I'm not trying to like, I'm just curious to see.
We're changing the game. The municipalities, the businesses, they've never seen anything like this because they've never been promoted through the site, through the municipality in the way that is preparing them to maximize their visibility. They can maximize their visibility through being able to put up great content. We can connect to their social media, bring in their videos, bring in their TikToks. And then from the participation perspective, they can participate in events with check-ins. And then for the deals and rewards, they're able to, offer deals and rewards that, complement and benefit their business. What's unique about these deals and rewards is that, let's say, for example, spend 20, save 5. When you use that, if I use that today and I try to go back to that same business tomorrow, it's gonna say, oh, Dante, you can't use that today, now, you gotta wait 30 days before you can use that. So we even track the number of redemptions based on the period the business sets, it can be used within.
Okay, just,
Thanks, Mr. Bell. So I love everything you're showing here. It really changes the game. We've done that in a couple of our businesses, that we own. In terms of any downside for, because gold, the new data is the new gold, right?
Yes.
Data is the new gold. So you're acquiring and aggregating all this data. And then I'm sure you're gonna hit it with a bunch of different, algorithms and such and things like that. Will that data be sold or is that kept in-house?
That's a beautiful question. We don't hit your data, it's your data.
Okay.
It's for you to leverage that data to plan to make decisions.
Oh, fantastic.
We're not in the business of data manipulation, as we call it.
And as I see my daughter in the, Sarah, stand up.
Oh, boy.
Civic participation, will there be a under, like a young adults version for kids who go out after school, and it's, that might be a nice idea as well.
Well, when you say kids, so for example, a business can offer a student deal and all the student has to do is show their ID when they walk into that business to get that deal, or you refer to something else.
No, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Yes,
because-
come in today, after school and you get this, and they can put the number of redemptions, so they can say you can do this twice a week, once a week, 5 times a month. They can set it for each level that business feels comfortable. And all that's relevant and visible on the list.
All right, thank you.
Is anybody gonna ask what the price is?
I was just gonna ask, could
say.
you please walk us through the financial piece?
Sure. So to get started, it's very simple. To activate is based on the number of businesses. So in this particular case, 530, your activation is $1,000 to build that, right? So to scale it to your 530 for my team to run the AI against it to build that, it will be, $1,000. And then the hosting fee for your number of businesses based on your population is $2,500 for the year. And the verification calls, we charge $7.50 per business to verify that business, to sending out their email with the login credentials and to, support links and all those things. And then for the participation module to turn on is $2,500 for your size city. And then for the deals and rewards for your size city, it's like around $4,800.
Wait, so,
So they're all modular. You can turn on whatever you wish to turn on.
so basically setting up that functionality is $4,800.
The deals and rewards,
Okay. And that's a one-time.
yes,
One-off.
basically, your
And
basically your
is
size.
is your software proprietary that you would, if like in the event that, you stop doing business with the township of Millburn, is it proprietary where we'd have to like rebuild this with somebody else, or can, if.
We're the originator, we're the inventor.
Okay, so you have a trademark or like a.
Oh, yeah,
Patent
trademark,
on it?
copyrighted,
Okay, all right,
well,
so-
patent pending.
But practically speaking, like if we just pull it out one day, the
Who would
links,
collapse?
well, it wouldn't work anymore, the links are really on the internet, so it would be kind of a mess. You wouldn't be able to just kind of like, it doesn't work that way. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. We're actually, they're featuring us in the League of Municipalities magazine, either in the April or May edition. You should see it in there. And we're happy to work with Mike over there. They've seen what we're doing as innovation for the state, as a model for the state, and we're really excited about it.
So all of those fees are all one-time fees?
No, so the activation's a one time.
Sure.
The $2,500 for the hosting is ongoing.
Is yearly.
Yes, yearly.
Annual.
I'm sorry, it's annual. The participation is annual, and the deals are annual.
Okay, so annually we have all these recurring fees.
Correct.
It's about the social money.
I guess we would be able to, like, for me, like, I'm really just about results, I mean, I know, cost. Like, I would want us to speak with the other towns that are using it and seeing if, what their feedback is.
Sure.
Because it's a lot, it's for our size budget, it's fairly, in my opinion, fairly substantial.
Mhm.
And I would want to know, like, what is the other, Springfield or comparable towns, whether or not their businesses have seen value, not really the SID, because the SID is just kind of like an entity that oversees this, but like, I want to know from business owners, like, have you gotten more business out of it? This is really what this is about.
Right.
It's not about us, driving the platforms. I mean, that's the way that I look at it, So, so that's kind of like my opinion, how I would approach it, because it's, this is not something you can also try quickly. Like, it needs to be out there for months, it's like, take a while. What's the longest time that you've had, like, how long have you guys been on? What's the longest?
Well, let me answer the one
Sure.
question, I think.
Absolutely.
This is modular.
Yeah.
So you can get started with this for $3,500.
Yeah.
Right? And put the visual in place, and to also have the ability, the biggest number, that's that invisible number, is the verification call. Right?
Yeah, I don't really see the value in that
Right.
personally. We already have the businesses where, that exist. That's not something else.
Correct. So
I don't really see that.
So if you wanted to internally, verify the business, send the email to the business with their login credentials and the whole nine, you're able to do that, right? That's an option for us to do on our behalf with our call center. But you can do that internally, because each business needs to get their.
Don't want
Yeah.
to get into the weeds of it, but.
I mean, the
Yeah.
verification, what's the primary purpose of the verification? Like, you do that for what primary reason?
To let the business know that they're being promoted by the municipality, that this is available, this is what's happening for you on your behalf.
There's an onboarding process that would have to happen for the business in order to use the platform. That's like.
Well, and
Sort of
with the understanding that all businesses have the technical capabilities to onboard these services.
It's a lot of work. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't know whose people are, I mean, there's 500 people that are in our SID, so like, you don't really know. It's a process.
Well,
Yeah.
without the business doing anything, they're built, right? They're looking good. They don't have to do anything and to be part of the listing in order to provide, participation in deals and rewards.
Right.
What I'm saying is, just to get it out there and to get this visibility component there, you can do. I think that's a more cost effective than looking at doing a participation, the deals and rewards and the verification. Right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that like in this use case, let's say we were to subscribe to this platform, I think it's perfectly acceptable for us, ask them, just point out 500 links to say, hey, welcome, Explore Millburn is now doing this, and like, right?
Absolutely, you can
But
do
I don't think there's any need to verify them because we know that they exist. That's not something I don't see here.
absolutely.
In this use case, maybe some other use case that you may need that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, you can do that.
Yeah.
What we're saying is, from our experience, the call verification has worked better than just blinding them with a login credential.
Right, I understand.
I'm just, but you can do it however you wish to do it. We just have, what we recommend, but you have the ability to
Right.
do it. And from that case, $1,000 activation, $2,500 for the hosting. And that means every business has their login credentials. And if you want to send out an email to them that says, here's your username and password, welcome to Millburn, you're able to do that. And that's just.
I would want to speak to people too, like other towns, see what
Sure.
feedback is,
And how long have you been in business and what's the longest running bid that you've been servicing? Or municipality, I should say.
I would say, well, been in business since 2021.
Okay,
And Springfield is the longest running, over a year.
Over a year, or a year, I think we should go have something, right, some data.
Oh, yeah, talk to them, definitely give them a call.
So when you work with the township or entity, you don't let them try it, in other words, you have to cut you a check for whatever service we subscribe to, right? I'm just asking.
That's a call that, I can make to work with you in some type of way.
Just asking.
It's, it's what it is. We can work out and talk about, the details of it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I have one last question, just really quickly on the visual thing.
Sure.
So I'm trying to, obviously you showed us this, but every website designer, and I know Steve is looking at redoing a website, I think you mentioned something about it. So, let's say Steve's working with his team to redo the website and whatever, change, the top nav and the order path process, whatever. How does this layer in? Is your style just the same kind of boxes and format for every town? So, because I just don't want our town to look like Springfield, because we're a different brand, in Springfield. So I was just trying to understand, is it a sort of a kind of a out of the box kind of moment visually, or are you able to customize things visually to layer them in with the aesthetic of our website and the, process, when you're going through the flow of our site through the navigation?
That is a great question, and the customization right now is based on your branding colors, logos and things of that nature. Each business is gonna look different because all graphics are gonna be unique and different for each business. So the layout, the framework of a listing, if you wanna have like a different type of listing, we can talk to our development team. I can talk to my team. If you have a great idea, for something that looks fantastic, we're all ears. We can totally customize whatever you envision. We can do that.
So the format there, it's like the boxes are sort of, the standard size, and then it's, you have the, that's all I was trying to understand. So it would look something like that layered on top.
Yes,
Yeah, with the owner's graphics of the merchant's graphics. that they have.
however, to your point, if you have something in mind that you think would look fantastic for Millburn, we're open to that conversation, and I can have my team put together something that reflects what you feel is you.
No, thank you. I just wanted to understand.
Yes, but
I wasn't
we're
trying to-
flexible to make you authentic as possible.
Done. Thank you, Dante.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
I think we have some homework to do on our end.
Sure.
And I think we will be circling back I
Interesting.
appreciate it. Where are you based, by the way? Curious.
Marlton, New Jersey.
Marlton.
A long ride.
It's a long ride.
Oh, I came from Atlantic City to come here. We had an event in Atlantic City, and from Atlantic City, we just shot up here, so we're here to support.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you
coming
very
out.
much.
Cool.
Yes.
It's a really interesting presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, moving along on the agenda, I am the board chair and I have no reports. Mr. Grillo, financial report, expenses, attachment 2, sponsorship, attachment 3 in the.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So at the end of February, as you see on attachment 2, we had 72,256 in the bank, which increased to 90,931 when I ran this report on March 6th. As of today, we have 85,670 in the bank, which includes the first installment of the assessment collection. Went in on March 4th, so it was not reflected in the February report. That was about $31,000 that was collected in the first tranche. Generally, I request from the CFO a payment within the first couple of days of the month. So as we go into April, we'll get the next tranche as well. On the income page, you'll see that we collected 19,837 thus far. That was what I should say, we've collected more than that, we collected 19,837 reimbursements that were due to us from the town for 2025. That's mainly related to Town Hall Plaza, because we invoiced them at the end of the year just in one large invoice. And then the sole property owner that had not paid their assessment for 2025 paid in 2026, so there's a $2,200 payment there. Other than that, the assessment and any reimbursements due to us from 2025 are fully closed out. Then we have the sponsorship tracking, so that's attachment 3. We have currently invoiced for $21,910 in sponsorships. Our goal for the year is 35,000, so we've done very well. We're 2/3 of the way there or so. You'll notice that we do have 11,000 and more in outstanding payments, but about 5,700 is invoiced just this week. And then I also put $1,000 in the bank today. It's not reflected. The check only came in today, so I'm not concerned about collections. We really only have 2 that are kind of dragging on, but we've been speaking to the accounting folks for both those offices. So overall, billing for nearly 22,000 within the first quarter. I think we're doing really well.
Great. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Mr. Stoller, any reports? Okay,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Thanks for coming. Mr. Buckingham,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. McDonald wanted me to share with everyone that on April 13th, 2026, 6:30 p.m. at the library, the township will be hosting a public meeting for the Short Hills Train Station Pedestrian Improvements Project that's forthcoming. Township has funding secured to rework some of the roads and parking around the train station to make it safer for pedestrians. So anyone who wants to come out can come out and listen and learn what that will look like.
I'm sorry, what time?
6:30.
Is that the short list? I'm sorry. Is it short list transmission?
Yes. And
Thank
that's it-
you.
That's it for me.
Mr. Slattery, Fair Properties 3.
Good evening, everyone. Lawsuit was filed, just in the past week or so, which is being called Bear Properties 3. As you can tell by the title, it's basically an attempt to relitigate the same claims from Bear Properties 2. Those claims were frivolous when they were filed the first time around. Changing the calendar year is not going to change anything about that. Just reaffirms that the passage of time and the rejection of the courts don't seem to stop Mr. Feld from harassing the Explorer in the township with litigation. I will get more into the strategy of how I suggest we respond, with the caveat that I've not been retained to do so formally when we are in executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Slattery.
Yeah,
Mr.
just to reiterate to the members of the board, we are going into executive session this evening. We have a resolution for that because we do need to discuss litigation strategy for Bear Properties 3.
Thank you. Promotion and design report.
All right, pinching for Corinne this evening. So Corinne and Michelle have been hard at work on a bunch of things. Girls' Night Out is scheduled for Thursday, June 4th. RWJ Barnabas and Paper Mill Playhouse have signed on as sponsors, and we're actively pursuing others. The Girls Night Out Committee has been meeting every 2 weeks since January. And they're gonna, yeah, Karen, yeah. And they'll begin meeting every week at the end of April. We are partnering, we're doing something new this year. We're partnering with Pop Blossom and Genius Gems, which are two child education enrichment company businesses in town. They're gonna be providing childcare programs during the event as a way to free up the parents. And so we are going to cover the cost that we've negotiated with both of those groups. We're expecting somewhere between 30 and 40 children will probably be deposited, if you will, so that their parents can go out. And then also it's a great opportunity for them to promote their services to folks who may not have used them before. They'll be doing the online sign up on their end. They'll be invoicing us, and we've set a cap. So looking forward to trying that. I think it's gonna be pretty innovative. And just a shout out to some of the businesses who've already signed on: Gia Boutique, Shala's Boutique, Studio 260, Teen Skin, the Millburn Mamas and Minis, Sestra, Veggie Art for Pets, who I heard their commercial during the Met game today. So they are moving up and spending money. Musicology, and then By Design Kitchen and Bath. But we always have many folks fill in during the event coordination. On the World Cup side, things are moving quite a bit. I feel like every time Jackie's called me this week, I've told her I'm just finishing up a World Cup call. So the planning is going really well. We're partnering with a company called Main Street Pops. They're an event and marketing firm, which you guys approved a contract for earlier this year. We have 4 main promotions that are going to occur. So the first is a mailbox shopping promo. It's very similar to the Santa's mailbox in December. So shoppers can put their receipts from local businesses into the mailbox, and that qualifies them to win a gift card. We started with 1 mailbox for Christmas. We're going to do 5 mailboxes. There's going to be most likely 1 on Chatham Road, 1 on Upper Millburn, and 3 in the downtown, spaced all around. Restaurant promotions. The Main Street Pops folks are working with all the restaurants in town to set up, whether it's tournament long promotions and specials or game specific. So for instance, I think I might have mentioned this, Guacamole Mexican restaurant is looking to do lunchtime promos during the Spanish speaking teams games. And so they'll have a reduced menu, cheaper cost, and just try to get people that are working in town to have lunch there. We're also doing a kids soccer skills day. That's going to be Saturday, June 20th. That's going to be at Taylor Park. And we're working with local businesses to hopefully get them to vend that day. So perfect day if you're a fitness business, child-oriented business, physical therapy, cryotherapy, all of those types of businesses we're going to be targeting to create a bit of a vendor village inside the overall soccer skills day. And then the World Cup final viewing party, which we've talked about before, is Sunday, July 19th. That's going to be less of a vendor village and more of a food court concept. So Main Street Pops is also working to recruit local restaurants, like they do at Town Hall Plaza, just on a larger scale. Yes, please.
No, when you're finished, I just want to not move on to the next one because I want to ask a question about the village thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to, what's your opinion like on the core day that's going to drive traffic to the town the most? Do you feel like in terms of investment, do you think like the July 19th event with the screening in the park is going to be a bigger draw versus the kids soccer? Like what's your perspective?
Yeah, I think the final is going to be the big draw. FIFA rules, I don't know how they necessarily enforce this, but if you have less than 1,000 people, you don't have to get a license from FIFA. I would love to have 999 people come out. I think that would be a great day in Taylor Park. I think the restaurant promo is going to be really important. This is a really good food town. Restaurant Week typically does very well. This is sort of our replacement for Restaurant Week just for this year. So I think it's a bit of a slow burn because also the Santa's mailbox did really well last year. And that was just a pilot with 1 mailbox. And so I think having 5 of them and having it for 6-7 weeks will also be a good driver for the retail. So I'm trying to generate foot traffic for certain days, the restaurant component, and then the retail. So I think we're hitting it on a bunch of fronts, and that's the beauty of having a 6-week tournament, is you can be pretty versatile. So the answer is, I don't really think, other than the final, I think the rest of it is really more just trying to combine efforts to generate interest in the town.
Did you get the other thing set up with the private events?
I will report to you momentarily. It's not great news, but we're working through it. So we also, Michelle, on Tuesday night this week, she actually went to an event where Christy Hughes, who's the Chief Events Officer for FIFA World Cup New York, New Jersey, was speaking. It was all about how small businesses can engage through the FIFA process. We have actually secured her to do a one-on-one interview with me. Looks like it's gonna be April 9th. We're gonna record an interview with her about small business engagement and the World Cup. So that's a pretty exclusive thing. And then we'll distribute that out through all of our channels to our businesses. But also, we're expecting on April 1st that the state's going to announce a $5 million grant program through the EDA that's focused on small business support for the World Cup. New Jersey a little late, but okay. It's a little bit late, but you know, we're gonna then try to obviously engage our businesses in whatever that ends up looking like. We're also working with Italy and the Hilton Short Hills on potential partnerships. The Hilton, to Ben's question, so we did get clarification from Ms. Hughes that the way that the Hilton is operating for the World Cup is that teams will be staying here for 2 to 3 days and then leaving, whereas in some other cities, they're using them as hubs. So those teams are basically living there for the 6 weeks. So we're more of a transitory location. They don't have the plans right now. We met with the Hilton, spoken to them, asked them about who's coming when. They don't have that yet from FIFA, but we are in constant communication with them because we do obviously want to follow up with what you proposed. FIFA just hasn't quite given us the mechanics to do it yet, but it's top priority as we go through this process. But I think we've learned a lot also about how FIFA is organizing this. Okay. Quick thing on live music. So as you guys know, we are moving our live music from Town Hall Plaza this year to the courtyard, which is behind EVU and Coffee Mill Roasters. We already have seating there. We installed that seating, I guess, 2 years ago or so. Probably 30 seats. We'll get a few more. We're also going to install overhead lighting because there's really no lighting there. The fountain has been repaired last year, so the fountain is up and running, or will be in the spring. I'm also waiting on a quote from a power washing company so we can clean that area out. We will have music on Friday and Saturday evenings from 6 to 9. That'll start July 10th, and then it's going to go through August 29th. We don't have music scheduled for July 4th or Labor Day weekends. And because it is a bit of a tight space, we're not going to have any of the more rock-oriented bands. We've solicited jazz, blues, classical, and acoustic. So there's going to be a pretty wide variety of those bands, but we didn't want to make it unpleasant for the folks that are dining back there. So the kickoff evening is, as I said, July 10th, Friday night.
Is that Friday? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, Becky.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or is that?
Friday and Saturday. We do have 2 Sunday slots, but it's mostly Friday and Saturday.
Does that mirror like what we did? What was the schedule last year?
No, it's much more robust.
It was a lot.
No, it was only a
longer,
few weeks earlier.
Yeah.
I think maybe we're losing like 2 weeks. It's the way the holidays fall. So
We can expand that,
we could, I don't think we need to. But I think this still gets us, I think 9 weeks or something like that.
Is that a town property? Who owns that property?
The township owns the courtyard.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like the.
No.
I think it was part of
I
the.
thought it was Carrie
I thought it was
Howard.
Carrie Heller. That's what I thought it
Yeah,
was.
it's just on there,
Yeah.
So-
Yes, Christine.
Oh, so I was gonna ask about, just, so all the music that you've had in the past is amazing. And, you know, how can we drive more traffic to it? Like, cause that's my biggest thing for the time, you spend a lot of time and effort doing all this, you know, I mean, it's a lot of work, right? And so, and it's great, no doubt about that. I just was trying to figure out like how we can put some budget towards marketing it more, so we get more people coming into town, you know, that are just, people just happen to be local. I just, if we could think about that, just because.
I think that's exactly it.
You spend a lot of time, you know, working on
Yeah,
it.
there's a lot of free publications that we do use. Mommy Poppins is a really good one. There's a bunch of kind of parent-oriented free resources that we use, but also there's paid media that we use for other events. We haven't necessarily invested the same amount of money for live music as we have for Girls' Night Out or other things. There's no reason we can't. So if the question is, would we spend money to promote Live music, sure.
No, it just, I mean, I just was trying to figure out, we have events, so we wanna make sure that a lot of people attend them for the amount of effort, that's my biggest thing. I mean, have we used any influencers that, do all the day trips or the different events, like, to push people towards coming to our
Yeah,
events?
we've used influencers pretty aggressively.
Oh.
I think we're one of the few SIDS that actually contracts with them.
I didn't know
We
that.
actually just did a promotion to celebrate Pi Day, which is March 14, 3.14. It's always a pizza promotion event, so we had an influencer go and she did 3 videos of 3 pizzerias each. We got a really good response, and she's local, she's based in Union, super affordable. She did all 3 videos for $400. And it's just a nice thing for Pi Day, instead of just.
Yeah, I saw that on.
Yeah, so, all that kind of stuff is absolutely available. So, anytime you have an idea like that, or wanna bounce an idea, shoot Corinne or Michelle an email. But yeah, we can definitely invest in some more media for live music.
I also think that the proximity, for the live music in the courtyard to the restaurants will also be a draw because people will be able to dine and hear the live music as opposed to bringing takeout or a pizza to, Town Hall Plaza.
Town Hall Plaza,
Yeah.
people tend to camp for the full 3 hours. I think this is gonna be more of a transient, people going to dinner and then coming back.
Or people grabbing an ice cream cone
Cocktails.
and sitting.
Which is great.
Yeah.
More,
Which is-
more moving feet.
It's sort of like not street based, how does, there be a signage, how do we gonna?
Yeah, we'll have tons of signage. We're also gonna have to borrow some parking spaces behind your building, temporarily. We'll do that, Friday evenings, but we bought metal, crowd control barriers last year. So we'll just have no parking, Friday at noon, and then we'll be able to expand the space, and then we'll have signage there as well.
Well,
And
we have
on your side-
we have to get a permit for alcohol in that space as, for the bring your own.
Yes, we will.
We should do
So
that soon.
I forget if I did already. I might have written that already, but that's a good reminder. I'll take care of that.
And I would imagine also organically, because we've had such a successful music program the last, few summers, I mean, all those people probably wanna come back, so I bet you get a nice bump up wherever we have our meeting.
And we've gotten a lot of email addresses over the years from people that go there because we always do an annual survey. And so people give us their email addresses.
And last summer, we were very well attended, from what
No, it was, it was.
It's always a crowd,
It was an event that pretty much wasn't packed.
yeah.
And the funny thing is, these bands have their own group.
Following.
Followings, yeah, that's right,
Volunteer groupies that follow.
that's right, yeah,
Well, don't invent a crowd if they already bring them.
yeah, right.
I'm actually gonna pass it off to Ms. Best, because I'm not on the holiday
Glad I wrote
before
that little
committee.
note.
What was that?
I said, I'm glad I read your little note. Your note about the lighting.
Oh, yes,
That's what I figured.
you're on the committee, so if you wanna report, what's going
Sure,
on?
I mean, I actually, hold on, well, Jamie is actually heading up the committee, so he's sitting here, but, so if you wanna talk about it. I do,
Yeah, 3
it's up
minutes.
to you, I mean.
No, please.
Okay, well, so here,
Just give it.
1, 2, 3, I
Not a member
included,
of the board.
I think there should be 4. And then down for you guys.
I can
Oh,
speak to
wait,
public
one
comment.
one for Steve.
I'll take
You,
Steve.
you're on the email, Steve, but yeah, and then, hold on.
This slide,
No, I just forwarded you the email that, Michelle was copying on, et cetera, so I took everybody else's other stuff off of it. So here's some more, it's just a recap, if you guys, so Jamie was kind enough to, I went through a lot of the points that Jamie made, and just recap for the team, so. Anyhow, we had a great walkthrough. Jamie's been organizing the whole group and getting us all together and keeping us on track. And one of the core things that we talked about was we focused first on the inventory for the snowflake lights. And so we determined there's 3 different snowflake light styles. One is the largest size, it's like 4.5 to 5 feet, and then there's 2 others that are closer to 3.5 to 4 feet. 2 kind of look more similar and 1 looks a little bit more clunky. You can see it in the images that I shared. And also, you know, in those images is a picture of the toy soldier for people that don't remember what it looks like. And I didn't know what it was. And also the fuse box. So the biggest issue was, you know, the number of
Is
fuse
that what that
boxes.
is?
What?
That's a fuse box?
Yeah.
It
Well,
looks
it's the electrical for
Boy,
poles. Yeah, so they're
I don't know if I
really.
put anything in it.
I know, I mean, it's from like 1930, no, I'm just kidding. But, so, you know, that was one of the big issues, you know, is we basically, this is solely to address the wood poles, you know, and to ignite the snowflake moment that this, you know, town has historically had. And I think there were close to 65, 69 Jamie, snowflake lights that we have in inventory that are most likely in good shape. And, you know, they're non-LED, they're incandescent lights, and a lot of the bulbs can be replaced. And actually, they were originally purchased by the Township Beautification League. And so John Walker, who works for the DPW, is following up with the TBL to find out who the vendor was, because the vendor could still be a business and we could just reorder it, or possibly, I don't even know if that vendor custom made those, they might have been custom made. They're actually a lot nicer than some of the ones out in the marketplace. So we're waiting to hear back from Mr. Walker just about what the inventory status is. And we all did a partial walk through town, and, you know, looked at those poles. I'm gonna just touch base on the other holiday lighting because it's a separate issue, but just trying to stay focused on that. So we basically tried to establish that we would start the snowflake lights ideally, because this is all budget, you know, budget limited at a certain point, you know, at the Walgreens on Morris Avenue. You know, and not Main Street, Morris Avenue and Millburn Avenue, and then carry them all the way through to where Complete Street starts. And I'll tell you about what Vicky, you know, I was thinking about for the Complete Street area. And then after that, you know, they would continue on the wood poles where we don't have the smaller new poles, and they would wrap around by where Annie Says was. And, you know, we might have like one or two poles by the new construction for the Annie Says, you know, affordable housing area, and then all the way back around, close, and to finish off close to where the hearth is in the police station. So that's where they used to be. And then we talked about on Main Street, possibly having them down to Rector Street, I believe, from, you know, where the Complete Street stops, you know, so from that point down to Rector Street, and maybe going up to the Paper Mill Playhouse, because that's where they all used to exist. There's probably not enough. And then we're going back and forth about the need for those on Chatham Road for the Short Hills businesses at the, you know, the train station. And so my personal opinion is there's probably gonna be not enough lights. So it's really just getting an inventory. And we walked through, I did finish up with John just listing out, you know, how many poles, and he's just gonna come back to us with a total. And then, you know, see where we are, and, you know, that'll be up to the township committee and everybody else to decide. So that's that for just the snowflake lights. And then Vicky actually came up with a great idea for a smaller snowflake light for the Complete Street poles, because they can't carry the visual heaviness of something that large, and it just wouldn't fit right. So we're also going to be looking at the costing of that as well, and also putting you know, continuing with the white lights on the poles, and also the garland on the Complete Street poles. That was something that was an ask for, you know, the merchants in that area, because there's not enough daytime for Smith's glamour or holiday glamour. So that was an ad. And then we just talked generally about wrapping some of the buildings. That was Allison Campbell's idea, to just, you know, do these beautiful bows and around different buildings, you know, particularly maybe the Starbucks building and the one that's catty corner to it that has a cell tower on it, the large brick building. And then we talked about, you know, putting a wreath where the river is, like on both bridges, and some greens, and then also trying to determine, you know, how to decorate the rose garden area as well. So, and then the soldiers were kind of left hanging right now. I would say they were sort of disagreeing as to what to do with them, and we really didn't finish everything, so it was just the first start. Yeah, and then we also talked about stringing lights across the street, in near where your store is, just in the Complete Street area, so it kind of mirrors what's going on Main Street, and using that year round. And, you know, we just have to be concerned about the, you know, the height trucks hitting it. So that's kind of where we are right now, and Jamie's gonna set up another meeting and in a week or two, and we're gonna do follow-up and, you know, hopefully continue to move forward on it. That's all I got.
Is there anything envisioned down towards Wyoming on the east side of town?
No, I'm just being honest. I mean, so,
Why
you
not?
know,
Why not?
because I think there, right now, there was nothing there, and I mean, you can't do everybody at once, so it's kind of like, where do you wanna, you know, you can't do everything, I mean, we took away the snowflake, I'm not saying, I mean, I'm down if you guys want at it, I'll just, you know, we can all go back out, I mean, so I think
Well,
that we
because
have
So
some kind of
where,
cutoff.
so
Mhm.
physically, where does it end? So
Right.
we used to call the gateway to Millburn where,
Amy says is,
yes, so
Yes.
it goes all the way to
And
Annie
And then it
Says.
yeah.
stops.
and no, and it wraps around, like it would wrap around onto Essex Street, going back around. It's not to say that you can't put the snowflakes down there, we used to have them down there, but I think considering all, you know, the contentiousness, you know, around, you know, Upper Millburn Avenue, not getting as many food services, like, I think that that was an important area to hit.
We can't
It's
pick
more-
and, you can't pick and choose. I mean,
Well, then we would just have to, you know, make sure that we have enough decorations for everybody. I mean, there's other things you could do, like, for example, you could not do the snowflake lights, the newer ones in the new complete street areas and just add the garlands, they have the lights and the garlands, and then, you know, take that budget and, you know, move it down by Trader Joe's. So I think we're sort of trying to see, like, how much does all of this cost? And then to your point, Ben, like addressing, you know, okay, what are we gonna do with Chatham Road?
Right.
So I think we're sort of in kind of a exploratory phase, you know,
Or
right now.
one of the other thoughts we had is or suggestion was to try to turn your work into like a 5-year plan or even a 10-year plan, you know, where you potentially build in a budget, because you're not gonna get everything done in one
That's
season.
exactly right.
Yeah, you're not gonna get everything done in one season, and there are a lot of infrastructure issues with the electrification.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of places you can't electrify. And I wonder if you had like a longer plan, whether the town could invest in electrifying more of those poles. You know, I don't know what that
John
would
said
take.
he can do it, it just costs money.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be done overnight, and
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
long-term thing,
Yeah.
but maybe 5 or 10 years, you know what, in 5 years, you know, we can do a lot more with the budget.
I mean, yeah, and I think that's what it's like premature to your point, I think that's why we didn't look any further, because we kind of see, what does it take to cover here? And then you might say like, hey, let's not do Chatham Road this year, and that's in year 2. And, you know, down by Trader Joe's.
And then you
year
can
3.
tell those businesses it's coming,
Yes,
Yeah.
100%, so it'll ultimately be up to you.
yeah, but it's a big job.
Yeah.
Commend you for taking it
No,
on.
I mean, it's Jamie's baby, I'm just an
Yeah.
assistant.
Well, it's a lot of work. A lot of work.
So,
Do you think there's sponsorship and grants that could be secured for additional?
Grants, probably not, sponsorship, sure, I mean, I think that's gotta be part of the process that this group undertakes is whose responsibility is that, where does the money get housed? My hunch is that it's probably municipal, it would go into the municipal accounts because they're most likely purchasing the equipment, but I don't see why they couldn't go out and solicit that.
and even, I think you had talked about doing the metropolitan, just maybe soliciting from like the Metropolitan, like they're gonna get a bunch near them, maybe they can throw in some money, or the Annie Says building, or the Hearth. Things, you know, maybe they would want
Yeah,
that.
in my experience with bids, so for instance, you know, I spent 10 years of my career in New York running bids, and in New York, you have to, the law basically is you have to fundraise, you can't use public funds for holiday lighting. I don't know
Okay.
why that's the rule, but it is.
Oh.
So you literally have to go door to door and try to raise funds, it's a pretty inefficient model, especially when you have a bid, right, that has the revenue. But what I've found in my career is that after year 1, it becomes much easier to get the sponsorships, because now you've shown them, this is a taste. Imagine what we could do if we had 10,000 more or 20,000 more, then all of a sudden, because people's imagination starts to run wild when they see those first lights. And so I would also keep that in mind, just as a point of recommendation, is maybe not give everything in year 1,
Right.
hold back
Oh,
a
yeah,
little bit, because you are going to get more interest and more funding in year 2 and year 3. Because now you've shown them a product and they just want more of it.
So is that the same in the state of New Jersey? Is that the same law that's carried over?
No, it's not.
It's not.
No.
I just have like a more of an operational issue. So is this a committee, the township committee?
It's, Jamie could, I mean, is Jamie allowed to answer
It's a
that?
township committee.
Yeah, it's the township.
It is a
committee.
subcommittee of the township, it is not a bid.
Got it. You're part of that.
I'm just on the committee with multiple people, like Allison Campbell's on it, Jamie's leading it.
Well, it's supposed to thank you.
Alan,
It's supposed to
Vicky,
thank you.
yeah.
I think if we wanted to get technical about it, I think Michelle from our
Michelle's
team is
technical.
our designee.
Yeah, she's on it.
Whereas Christine is a resident that has been
Yeah.
appointed.
Got it. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out, so we did not have, didn't have this last year, is that what? Now
No.
we're.
There was not a committee,
Like
It was
committee,
an ad hoc.
committee.
Right.
Yeah.
So the township committee made it priority.
I mean, I think it just got convoluted over the years because I think that, it's, you're layering in the SID and like you have the town doing it and there's
Right.
like a little bit of the,
Overlap.
the TBL had their hands in it. I think it's,
It was always
Kind of
like an
like-
after, it was actually, to me, it was always like an afterthought, like, oh my God, the holidays are coming, we gotta do something.
yeah, so I mean, I think we're just trying to structure it more.
Yeah, so now, I mean, it seems like it's a much more structured approach and, yeah. Thank you.
All right, moving along, economic vitality and organizational report, Mr. Grillo.
Thank you. All right, so new businesses, closed businesses, this is a standing report. We didn't have any open or closed since our last meeting. We do have a couple of important updates. Dilly Millburn, which is the old common lot. They are planning a soft opening in late April. I actually spoke to the owner yesterday. Aroma's Home, which is a home decor store that is going into the former Design Hub. So at the corner across from Starbucks. They are moving forward with their construction. Their crews have been there the last 2 weeks doing internal work. Then I also went next door to Peeled today, which is the juice bar. I spoke with the owner. He's expecting to be open in 2 to 3 weeks. He got a new contractor to do his floors. And that's the last thing the building is completely built out. It's actually quite beautiful inside, but he's missing floors.
Did the marble come in? That's what he's waiting for, right?
Yeah,
Or he switched up?
he switched his contractor. I think that was the big issue.
Oh.
So, he thinks he can get it done in 2 weeks. He's doing it himself and he's not a contractor. So, my fingers are crossed that it's in 2 weeks, but, I can't wait. It's gonna be an absolutely beautiful space in downtown. So
What's it, it's a juice bar?
it's a juice bar, for the most part, yeah.
It's like just juice, like,
Juices, snacks, like kind of a
oh, that's cool.
Coffee shop.
You want to go to places like, you want to go in and just buy something, grab and go.
And it's
Yeah.
inside, it has a lounge feel. It's really, really nice.
It's like an Upper West Side.
Yeah, it's like- yeah.
I like that.
So hopefully by the time we have our next meeting, all 3 of those will be open.
Do you have any update on the old Priscilla space?
Yes, 565 Millburn Ave.
Yes, please.
So it's the old Priscilla's Bridal. It is becoming a kitchen and bath showroom. It was purchased by a gentleman who is a contractor in this area. His son is interested in starting that kind of business, so they went into it as a family business. And the gentleman that is the father is working to build out the space. So they've been at it, it's probably since November. It's a big space, it has a basement,
Yeah.
it has its own problems. But it's moving along pretty well. I've connected him with our contact at the NJEDA. So hopefully he can get some tax abatements and grant money for all the investment he's putting in. Really nice guy, great family, and super cooperative to work with, and just a big, big building.
Does the business have a name or it's not?
Not yet,
Okay,
yes.
just a question.
They've got a couple of names racked around.
Okay.
So then I want to talk about Main Street, the New Jersey Main Street program. So an exciting update on the construction side. So as you know, we have $150,000 that we received from the state last year for capital improvements. We had worked with Alex and the engineering office to originally design a project that was gonna remove the brick sidewalk on Millburn Avenue from Main to Lackawanna. Maybe about 6 weeks ago or so, the township committee changed the scope of that project. And now it's going to be on Millburn Avenue between Lackawanna and Holmes. So imagine entrance to the park to the post office, for lack of a, right? So Oscar's, I think, F45, Gianmarco, that
So
area.
is it going to come back, is it gonna go up to Blue Mercury?
No,
They're only just doing that section and
the
skipping.
section is from Lackawanna.
Okay, no, I know,
East.
that's why I was, okay, so.
Originally, it was supposed to
So
be,
why are they doing it like that? It's not enough money?
they felt that it would be a better project somewhere else.
But I mean, we're gonna just leave a patch that's not done?
No, it hasn't started.
No, I'm saying, we're only replacing the sidewalk from one section.
No,
Okay,
we're not doing,
I'm
no,
missing something, I'm just, sorry, I feel stupid, can you
no,
just
don't feel stupid.
clarify
So-
for me?
The original proposal that we submitted to the state was to remove the brick sidewalk
Yeah, I don't know,
between Blue Mercury and Lackawanna.
Okay.
There was some other pieces of that, but that was the main thing. Township committee spoke with Alex and the engineering department decided to change the project to now Lackawanna to Holmes. So it moved up a block, so nothing significant is happening in the original area. We're not ripping anything up.
right, so that's my concern, I'm just throwing out, I mean, listen, it's what the TC decided, but it's really concerning to me that everything is like so broken and ad hoc-y, like, you know, when you have your first house and you're like, okay, let me paint my kitchen floors. And I feel like, can't we just ever just do a whole section, you know, I mean, I know that's not your issue, but I don't know if there's anything. I would really like to see the whole thing done, because it's looking really shoddy and run down in that area by Goldberg's. So, I know that's not your
That's what I
decision.
applied for.
I know,
So,
no, I.
but we are gonna have new construction, so again, envision the Oscars Gianmarco area. There's gonna be 4 concrete bump outs, at Whittingham Terrace and at Holmes Street. Those are gonna look very similar to what we have in the other areas of downtown with the swales and the rocks. Then there's gonna be angled parking on the north side of the street, so that's the Gianmarco side of the street. That's gonna increase parking from 10 spaces to 14 spaces. There's gonna be installation of new trees as well as hopefully poles that will allow us to do a banner across the street. Right now, the way the poles are situated, you can't really do one across Millburn Avenue. So we'll put in new ones there. Then we are gonna do a couple of things near the Millburn Deli. This will actually be something that we're gonna have our design committee look at as well. You remember when they did the angled parking project in front of the deli, I guess that's 2 years ago. There's 2 areas on either side that right now are just blocked off with traffic bollards. We'd like to do a ground mural on that, so paint it, you know, some nice design. And then also put planters around it, so that it becomes a little bit of a pedestrian oasis. Not thinking about seating necessarily, but just make it look nicer than what it looks like. So we'll refer that to the design committee to talk about. They're also going to repair the apron that comes down from lot 12, which is the Millburn Deli Deli parking lot. That apron needs to be repaired, so that'll be part of this project. And then also we're gonna work to reduce the number of signs on that section. So from Blue Mercury to Lackawanna. Actually, our intern, Zach, last year developed a sign consolidation project. You know how it is. It's funny, there's a sign today. It says no parking here to corner in front of Blue Mercury. But there's actually a swale there, so you couldn't physically park anyway. But the sign must have been there before they put the swale in, and then nobody ever took the sign down. So there's things like that that we're gonna remove just to make it look less cluttered. And then, so just what's important to anybody that might be listening to this, the non-permanent bump outs and angled parking, we're doing just a test, will be installed on April 8th. And then if that works well, or anything needs to be changed, we'll most likely do the permanent work in August.
This is about by Gianmarco, you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then from our side of it, from a funding perspective, we have 75,000 in the bank. That is the first tranche from the state. We will use that money to reimburse the town. Once that's exhausted and the project is completed, we'll ask for the next 75, and then we will invoice the town, or the town will invoice us, I should say. And we already have a memorandum of understanding that we've done last year to make the financial transaction easier. So overall, the project's going really well. It's a, you know, it should be a very interesting approach.
And when did you anticipate beginning construction?
I would say July, with most of it being done in August. That's when Alex prefers to do her work, when it's a little quieter.
After World Cup or?
Yes, after work.
So,
Yeah, no,
I heard, somebody called me and told me the butter building
Was what?
was for sale.
Is for sale? I don't know. I will look into it.
We should buy it. Riverwalk, Riverwalk.
You read that, didn't you? That
What?
was our document from 4 years ago.
I know, I.
Yes.
The vision plan.
The vision
Yeah,
plan,
yeah.
it's there, it's there,
I'm down, we gotta go meet with Joey.
it's there.
Two more quick Main Street items.
So it's 150 for that, just,
No, it's probably gonna be close to 500,000, but we are putting 150, and then the
We're
town is
putting
covering that,
gotcha.
so we're basically the seed funding.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But of course, it was free money because of the grant.
gotcha.
Right, but it's gonna be significantly more than the 150, and, I even recommended to bury the power line.
That's.
Well, I got kicked back on that, boy.
A lot of money. We looked
It's $1
at
million
that.
a mile.
A lot of money.
That's what the Kirkstone in my
Well,
neighborhood costs.
apparently we walked with JCP and now there's some things going on.
It's expensive, yeah.
Speaking of the transformation grant, that's what the project is called, the next window through the state opens on April 7th. And so since we received the maximum award last year, we're only eligible for a maximum award of 20,000 this year, so it's quite a difference from 150 to 20. But the original plan that I had spoken to Alex about was applying for funds to remove the old PA system that's in the downtown, which you've probably seen, these sort of World War II era, which I believe are operated on a record machine or a tape recorder, something like that, and install Bluetooth speakers. So
Retro.
I think that's probably the best way to go right now, given that it's a relatively small budget that we can apply for. And then, as we've talked about, jurisdictionally, the Main Street transformation money can only be used in the downtown. But what we could do is similar to this year, the town could potentially fund the installation on Upper Millburn Avenue and Chatham Road. We have other pedestrian areas.
Right.
So again, using seed money to get the project moving, then the town could use it in non-Main Street areas.
Where is it gonna be? I'm sorry, one of these, where? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Downtown, Upper
Millburn
Millburn Avenue, and then Chatham Road.
And they're,
All across, all along the poles?
It depends, I mean, we can actually put them in the ground like they look like rocks.
Oh,
Don't we
Yeah.
already have some
there's a
terrible
fun track.
eyesore speakers downtown?
I've removed those as part of the project.
But there,
It's
are there
like
still
World
old
War
speakers that
II.
don't work, that are still there, right?
Yeah. But they work sequentially, right? So if you have enough in the down, I'm not a tech expert, but if you work, for instance, you have them in the downtown, you can create a series of repeaters. And so you can, within one system, go to Upper Millburn and Chatham Road.
I seem to remember many years ago that there was holiday music
Yes,
that used to
piped
play,
in.
that was piped in.
Yeah.
Denver
And-
has it.
Yeah, and over the years, it got worse and worse, and then it went, then it was defunct.
No, I think it's time to upgrade that. And so if the state will give us money to do it, it's a good thing. So
Is this like centrally managed, is it a control room somewhere, or is it a person like?
No.
No,
you're like, it's in technology.
I don't know, how does it work? If it's all Bluetooth, maybe they.
Yeah, it's all Bluetooth.
You're gonna have
So
a control on your phone.
I don't want
Even
somebody to
I-
like hack into it or something.
You're gonna set the music.
Some guy coming in here and like, class, whatever.
And then the last thing about Main Street is, so we've talked a lot about how board engagement is really critical for Main Street. So this year, I would like every board member to read one of the reports from the Main Street Academy. So we have access to the Main Street Academy through our Main Street America membership. I've actually created a library on our shared drive, which I will give everybody a link after the meeting. They're pretty short presentation. Some of them are just like 10-slide PowerPoints, others are just white papers. But there's a couple things like a comprehensive guide to community transformation, finding a balance between regulations and revitalization, a downtown design guide, social media photo contests, and walking tours, other topics. So I would love it if two of you would volunteer to at least go into the shared drive that I give you, read an article and report on it at our next meeting.
A book report?
How many,
pages?
how many different topics are there?
There's probably 15.
Okay.
They're pretty short. I mean, I didn't pick anything overly.
Well, if we each volunteer, it's not that bad, like, we just.
I think it's scale, come
You
on.
don't even have to pick tonight. You go in, you see what you like, you pick that one, you report back. That's all.
You're gonna email that to us?
Yes.
I'm in.
All right, Christine is month one.
A one per.
How about we do two this time? Come on.
I'll
Anything?
do.
All right.
I'll do it, but it's gotta be like simple, you know, I can.
Just send me the one you want me to report.
No, I want you to pick, I want you guys to
Well, but
Like-
the problem with that is what happens if two people pick the same?
text each other.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right,
Come on, you gotta
We
collaborate.
need a spreadsheet infrastructure that maps everything, we need like AI involved.
And that's my report.
Okay.
You send it to it, you'll send us a link, and we'll
Um,
just kind of coordinate.
Yes.
wait, don't you have, are we, wasn't there something missed on that?
No, we're gonna do the art.
Organization administrative report, consideration of contract
Oh,
for
the contract stuff.
for civic-centered public art services for a public art master plan, attachment number 4 in your packet.
So this is gonna be a little bit procedural, because the mayor who just stepped out wrote me an email that had some concerns, so I want to address those this evening. So this is regarding the Essex County Public Art Grant. We had talked about releasing the RFP, which we did. We received 3 responses. Those were reviewed by the board's design committee, which Christine and Jackie sit on. The committee then instructed Michelle and Corinne from our team to do one-on-one interviews with all 3 respondents. And then Corinne and Michelle recommended civic-centered public art services. The RFP is in your packets as well as a draft contract. So prior to this meeting, I did receive an email from the mayor who had some concerns. So I'm gonna read portions of that email. And then I'm gonna answer his 3 questions as well. So he says, in having reviewed the RFP in detail, I have significant concerns about its scope. The document describes the plan as a long-term roadmap for integrating public art into, quote, the fabric of Millburn across a diverse range of locations, end quote. The scope of work directs the selected consultant to, quote, conduct a visual and contextual audit of the SID and surrounding areas, end quote. Language that explicitly places the work outside the SID's geographic boundaries. The plan further contemplates initiatives tied to the Paper Mill Playhouse and its role in Millburn's art ecosystem. A scope that has nothing to do with the commercial improvement district the SID was created to serve. I recognize that the corporation's bylaws contemplate some cultural and civic activities, but every purpose enumerated in that section, I apologize, is expressly limited to activities within or to the district. A town-wide public art master plan does not meet that standard. I also have concerns about the process by which the consultant has been selected. It is my understanding that interviews were conducted by staff without the full participation of the design committee, that the committee review meeting was subsequently canceled, and that the consultant has been informally notified of selection, all prior to board vote. I want to be candid with you about something broader. This initiative is not an isolated occurrence. I have observed a pattern of SID activities that appear to exceed the organization's core mission as defined in its enabling ordinance. Quite honestly, now that the situation has come to light, I believe we may be getting very close to the point where a more formal and comprehensive review of the SID activities, budget allocation, and governance practices will become necessary. I note that the RFP schedule calls for a board vote on contractor selection on March 26th. I am asking that no contract be executed in connection with this RFP until the concerns raised in this letter have been addressed and the township committee has an opportunity to review this matter. This letter was provided to all of you in your packets. And so the answers, he has 3 specific questions, which I want to answer now on the record. He asks, what is the specific legal authority under which the program is being undertaken, given that its scope explicitly extends beyond the SID's geographic boundaries? My response is, firstly, the scope does not extend beyond the SID's boundaries in any material way. Strategic partnerships with businesses and nonprofits, both within and adjacent to the district, are necessary to leverage additional funding, expand programming, and deliver measurable benefits to assessed stakeholders. The inclusion of the review of public art assets outside the SID boundaries during the consultant's inventory is a standard planning practice. It ensures that recommendations are informed by a full municipal context, avoids duplicating of existing infrastructure, and supports cohesive townwide planning. The notion of creating a music/public art trail to connect Paper Mill with the downtown is an excellent way of physically connecting the #1 economic driver in the downtown for pedestrians. Any future project that has aspects outside the SID boundary will require the relevant portion to be funded through partnerships, grants, or municipal collaboration, not the SID budget. While the township provides funding to the SID, it does not have the authority to approve SID contracts or select vendors. The SID operates as an independent entity, and any suggestion that the township committee oversees these internal decisions reflects a misunderstanding of that structure. Furthermore, insistence that the board delay approval of the contract until the township committee has reviewed the matter is inconsistent with the principles of nonprofit independence, our bylaws, and our ordinance. Neither the township nor the mayor has the authority to direct, oversee, or influence how this independent not-for-profit board deliberates or votes. Section 7 of our establishing ordinance clearly states that the SID has the authority to, quote, apply for, accept, administer, and comply with the requirements respecting an appropriation of funds or a gift, grant, or donation of property or money, make and execute agreements which may be necessary or convenient to exercise the powers and functions of corporation. Question 2, a full accounting of all funds associated with this initiative, including the 4,000 SID assessments reflected in the 2026 budget. Essex County provided Explore with a grant in the amount of $5,060, which is matched by our funds for a total project allocation of $10,119. $7,500 of that allocation is for this study. $1,000 is allocated to time worked by Corinne Mahoney as stipulated in her contract, and the remaining money is for maintenance of existing assets, including the postcard mural on Haagen-Dazs. Question 3. When the 2026 budget line for this project was presented to the Township Committee for approval, what description of the project scope was provided, and specifically, whether the Township Committee was informed that the initiative would extend beyond the SID's boundaries to encompass a townwide public art master plan? My response is that there were no specific questions about the grant asked of me at the time. I think the rest of the questions have been answered, or the rest of that question has been answered by question 1 regarding the boundaries. So that is my response to the mayor's inquiry, and I leave it to you guys.
Okay,
I mean, I think that I would like to, before you go ahead and say something else, I would like to respond to that, because I was down on that committee meeting and I have some concerns about it. So before you guys vote, I know I'm a non-voting member, but I do want to make a couple comments about it.
well, before we're gonna vote, I think we're gonna, first, if anybody has any responses to Mr. Grillo's statements, we can take those. Why don't we do it this way and start with Mr. Zaltzman.
Sure. I'm trying to understand like what this is in totality, like I'm just trying to piece together like how this all works. So can you just start from the beginning, like how does this happen, and like also this seems to be something that even though it's within SID, like it seems like we kind of have to work with town. So I just need to understand like
Sure.
from the beginning.
So this is something that actually Amanda, Dean, and I had talked about for a couple of years, wanting to put together a roadmap that will potentially outlive us as staff, from you as board members, but also collaborate with other groups, right? So one specific example in the RFP talks about.
I'm sorry, so just art. How did this come about, the art thing?
So we manage the public art program for the town as Explore.
Public art program for the town.
Yeah, so the art alley, for instance, next to Goldberg.
Yes.
We're responsible for soliciting and installing the art. We've done a bunch of pieces elsewhere. Some things are not within our purview, so all together now in Taylor Park, that was done by CETA a number of years ago. The 9/11 memorial by Chatham Road, we were not involved in. So there's artwork that is within our portfolio and artwork that isn't.
The town doesn't do this kind of stuff. They don't get involved.
Yeah, the town does, the
Like
9/11.
CETA
No, there's an art advisory committee.
Okay, I don't wanna.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of committees that do these things, right?
But art advisory is a consultant for the public art, for some of the public art. It's not a.
Well, I'll make my.
I don't think they've ever funded public art.
Okay, I don't wanna interrupt, okay.
So,
Yeah.
long story short, you've got a bunch of groups that do this stuff, and then you've got other groups where, from an economic development perspective, we're not engaging them as well as we could. So my example was with Historic Preservation Commission. Is there an opportunity to engage with Historic Pres where maybe public art could tell the story of the history of properties. So what we wanted to achieve through this RFP is to ask those questions, meet with these different stakeholders, understand their expertise, understand how, if we want to look at a 5-year master plan, who are the people that need to be involved? What are potential locations that we should be considering? What are mediums that we should use, right? So sound is a type of art, light is a type of art. Do we want to think about the multicultural aspect, right? So there's a whole host of things that we want to try to
You
achieve.
wanted to bring a public art program to Millburn, is that accurate? to say?
No, we want to develop a plan
A plan
to implement public art over the next 5 years.
in the city, within the city boundaries.
In the city, but the point of assessing the entire town
Right.
is you don't want to build a 9/11 memorial
Right.
on the other side of Chatham Road, when there's already a 9/11 memorial.
wanna be.
Yeah.
Or you say, well,
I get it, I'm just trying to.
all together now is a particular type of media. We have it in an inventory, we don't wanna duplicate that somewhere else.
I get it.
Right, so that's the point of inventory, and I think that maybe is where there was some confusion from the mayor's email. Is the point is not to put public art all over town, it's to understand what already exists, so that we don't duplicate it. There was one specific project, the Paper Mill Music Trail, where the idea was to install public art that's usable as musical instruments, and it would create a trail. But as I said in my response, that would require multiple funding sources. We wouldn't use SID money. So I think there's a nuance from the mayor of like, well, should we be using public art money? Or should we be using SID public art money to study the entirety of the town? But studying the entirety of the town is a very, very small piece of the overall study. So hopefully I've explained it.
The town does or does not do this?
Not really, I mean,
They don't have like a group.
the art advisory committee, as far as I understand, typically deals with artwork that's like in buildings already. So like
In the library.
artwork in the library or the Bauer Center, I don't think they do
The town-
any public art.
They don't have a group of people that are working on this kind of thing, you know? I'm just trying to see if there's an overlap, clash, just understand like the mechanics.
No, what we wanna do is enroll those groups and say,
Right.
Got it.
tell us, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, where,
And your goal is just to talk about just a sit, right? You're not, even though
Right.
there's some overlap, the town would have to.
this report would not recommend installing anything outside
Outside
of
of the
sit
sit, outside of our, we're able to.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't wanna,
minus that one project with Paper Mill, but again, the
That's
funding piece of
that's
it
separate.
is separate.
got it.
And Steve, the budget for this contract is a price, how much?
$7,500.
7,500, and the length of the project would be,
We're estimating it's probably 5 to 6 months, I would imagine.
so 7,500, 5 or 6 months. And who did the interviewers were,
The interviewers, I actually recused myself because one of the respondents is someone that has done work for us in the past. So it was Michelle and Corinne from our team,
okay,
Christine and Jackie representing the board. And then there were 2 business owners that have volunteered to be on the design committee. So 6 people in total.
and those people made their recommendation,
They told Michelle and Corinne to interview the 3 finalists.
yes.
Michelle and Corinne came back to me and said, one of them is far beyond everybody else. And I said, okay, let's move forward, let's get a draft contract. And so that's what's in your package.
So that was a consensus from the interviewers and the staff.
Correct. Again, I was not involved in any of the interviews.
You have anything to add, Christine, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I have just quite a bit to add, actually. So one of the things that people don't know about me is for 3 years, I worked in my mother's business as an art advisor corporately, working on a lot of collections because I was sick for a period of time with Lyme disease. So that was my like ad hoc job, just to get me by. So I know a lot about art installment, et cetera. And so I support public art. Like, I think this is a great idea, okay? I wanna make that really clear. So I've never not supported. I think having a master plan is also a good idea. You know, I'm not, against any of that. My issue is that I think the township or the township committee, and I know this is a 501c is separate, needs to decide who owns the art, because we've got Sita doing art, and we have, we're doing art now. And then we have an art advisory committee that's made up of all these people, and I don't think they feel, I think they would like to take ownership of it, and I assumed that there just wasn't any money, they had no money, so that's why there's not public art. So I think, sort of establishing that boundary, I think is really, really important before we move forward, even with the vote, so I wanna say that. The second thing is, I do wanna say, I looked through.
Christine, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So you don't think, I'm just asking you directly,
Yeah.
you don't think that public art is under our purview?
No, I'm saying that I think you can't have 3 different groups doing public art. I think that it needs to be centralized and some people can weigh in, but I mean, I think it gets like kind of chaotic and there's different visions and it's unfocused. So I'm not saying that it doesn't have to be under your purview, but I think it's kind of a little confusing, like we need to then establish, okay, if Lorraine Brennan wants to just focus on, having like an art store like they have in Maplewood, for example, and continue that in the library, or only do placements like in places like Old Short Hills Park, fine, but I think that's a discussion that should have been had before moving forward with this project, so that's all I'm saying, I'm not
May I ask a
against
question?
it.
So why couldn't that discussion happen as part of the master plan?
Because I think, because there might be enough people on that art advisory committee that are skilled enough to do a master plan for you, and you don't need to spend $7,500. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there as a consideration, so I'm not.
I think those are 2 different things though.
Mhm.
So you're talking about who would manage public art going forward, right? Which
Right,
that could be decided in the public art, in the master plan process. Who does the master plan is a separate question. So my question to you is,
but you're driving it, so it's like you're taking ownership of it, and so that's. So I understand what you're saying about the master plan, the question is whether we wanna spend the money, we have so little money. I love that mural that you did, the postcard mural, it's fabulous, okay? And it's like,
that was the postcard mural.
oh, I thought you guys did that.
No, that was.
Okay, well, I love it, and so, so I sit and I go, what's that cost, did you get that for 10 grand, did you get it for 20 grand, 30 grand, who knows, I don't know, every artist has different prices. So we just have so little money to spend, I'm just throwing that out, do we need a master plan, I'm not saying we don't, okay, so I just think there should be some further discussions about it, so that's just point 1. And then going through, Corinne and Michelle, handled the entire process, beautifully organized meetings, were great leaders in the meetings and directed everything really, really well. And, we saw the 3 candidates, so, and then we got to see their resumes and their whole deck. And they were nice enough to record the interviews at my request, so I listened to each interview, and took the time to do it. And I had a very different viewpoint on who would be the best candidate. I also think I wouldn't have hired any of them, honestly, personally, because we didn't do our due diligence and ask the right questions. And so I also forwarded to Corinne and Michelle an entire list of 12 questions that are very specific to people that are in the art business to understand these people's skill sets and get them out and get them talking. And those questions really weren't asked. They were very kind of vague questions. Also, 2 of the people really were urban planners disguised as art advisors. So, and I'm not saying that's, they're like, oh, I can do it, and so that's my concern. And, some of the questions that the final candidate that you guys are recommending awarding to, she had no substance to her, to her interview. So I think what was upsetting to me, and this is just when I'm saying upsetting, I think I should use a better word, how about concerning, is that we were all invited to be on this committee and Jackie and I didn't get to have a say, or any of the other members, because they said we decided who the person's gonna be, so we don't need to have the meeting to decide who the person's gonna be. So, I mean, I don't know how to say this any more directly, but I just thought it felt like it was, you already decided who the candidate was, and it was like, I'm just going through the motions. And I don't think that any of these people are the appropriate people. And it's also, the other thing I wanna point out is there's 3 asks in your RFP. The first ask is for somebody who's very skilled and understands how to put together hey, we're gonna put a sculpture over here, I envision a sculpture over here. This is what the construction, I know you're not doing construction costs at this point, this is what the construction costs, people that are skilled in that. Then you're asking for actually website design and user experience advice in the RFP, which is a completely different skill set that none of those people had. And then the other thing is that in addition to that, sorry, I'm just like a little tired tonight. The actual data collection that they wanted to do, the discovery and data collection, one girl was extremely qualified, I forget her name, and the other people really weren't. And so it was almost like 3 people's different jobs for what your end result of what you want to do. And so I just think my recommendation is not to vote on this tonight. I think we need to go back to the drawing table and establish who's doing the art in town, then go back, do an RFP and do a master plan, but maybe pull out the website design piece of it. And then maybe, I think you might actually need to add more money, because bottom line is they're charging $150 an hour. And, it's basically 40 to 60 hours of work in total that you're getting. And I don't think somebody can accomplish all of that in 40 to 60 hours. So I actually support it, Steve. I'm just criticizing it a little bit because I think it just needs to be more refined, and we need to open it up to more people, because this plan, if you're gonna do it right, is gonna be so critical to the execution of art in the future and the design of it. So I think this hire is actually really important. So I support a hire, I just don't support this hire. So, and I know I can't vote, so I said my piece. Thank you.
Well, I don't vote either.
Well, no, I mean,
So-
and I appreciate all the work you did. It's not like.
So
just-
this is a good opportunity for the board to decide how they want to proceed among themselves.
But when I hear things like public art, like it's sort of like scares me a little bit, because it's from the perspective of like, I feel like the town really there shouldn't be this tension between us and the town. And there should be like, we should have a feeling that we're on, like, I feel like we're the leaders of public art to bring public art to the town by proposing this plan. But I'm uncomfortable with the fact that there's some sort of disconnect or disagreement or something. Like, I think we should need to be on the same page with the people, with the TC people or whoever. Like, there has to be like an agreement as us, as residents of this community and the town. This is stuff that's gonna be front and center in the town. If something happens in like, in the background, some operational thing that no one sees, that's different. This is like visual, like I'm like thinking, what the town, like we should not have any friction with the township committee or on something like this or anything, but just in general, something that's very clearly visible. So, I mean, I'm in support of this, but I would prefer to vote on it when there's the removal of whatever these issues are. And that's my position on it.
Ben? Would you like to add anything?
I'm never against taking more time and making sure it's done correctly. I tend to agree. You just convinced me, Alex, that, the importance of art and where it sits in this community, and there's 3 different organizations all working on it. Why share an after plan, drive all of them?
Yeah, do it.
So I would like to have more clarity on what it's gonna do.
So procedurally, I just want to make sure you guys understand. So this money does not have to be expended until the end of the year. So if you do want to take time and you want to go back to the drawing board on it, that is perfectly feasible. I do want to just continue to reiterate what I said according to our ordinance, which is that the township committee does not have any jurisdiction over any contracts issued by this board. So while the mayor may have had concerns, he does not have, and any member of the TC does not have any authority to tell us what to do regarding contracts.
I don't think that's the issue. I think.
Well, I just wanna make sure everybody understands, because it's.
I
nuanced.
I think everybody understands that. I think the issue is having one cohesive point of view,
Yeah.
POV of the entire, everybody seems to be doing art these days anyways, to your point. And, is there a cohesive point of view that makes sense for us? I love, somebody mentioned the vision plan. That's the first thing I got 4 or 5 years ago when that came out. It was fantastic. A lot of good things going on, but then it fell to the wayside. So, unless everybody's kind of marching in the same direction, you know, from a procedural matter, it's never gonna happen. So, you know, I think everybody should get on the same page and be able to execute.
We should all be excited about it. I feel like we should all be excited about like.
You know,
But
like-
also-
I'm excited about what Steve
also
did.
keep in mind
I
that
just
this-
wanna say that.
The grant that this is being underwritten by was an Essex County art grant that Explore was the one
Yeah.
that
Oh, that we
Very
got.
true.
got the grant. It wasn't the township, it was Explore.
Well,
So-
we're all one community. Everybody.
Yes, we are all one community, but this board does operate independently and has the jurisdiction to make independent decisions. And Mr.
Let's
Slattery,
let's vote on it then, let's just.
Mr.
vote on it.
Slattery, do you want, no, but we can keep
Oh,
talking.
okay.
Oh, can I just say one thing? So, I feel like there's an element of like, yes, we have the authority to, sign contracts with vendors, we don't need the mayor or the township committee to do this,
Right.
like, I get that. My concern is just the fact, this is not like a website development project, this is like a public art thing that's gonna be out front and center.
Right.
So I just feel like having the feeling that we're, as a community, we're all aligned on this plan, and we're leading the plan, Jackie's point, like, we're the ones that came up with this, the town is not doing this, but they have other committees or some other people that are related to this, but we are the leaders of this, I would just feel more comfortable with not having this friction and having the support and going in this 100%, knowing that the town is even behind us on it.
Steve, what's the bounds of the grant? Like, what, we have to use the money by a certain
Yeah.
date?
By the end of the year.
By the end of the year, that
Yeah,
would,
fine.
right, so we have to use it or we would lose it by the end of the year?
Correct.
Can you use it for a mural? Like, do you have to use it for an RFP? Is it specified to an RFP?
It is specified to an RFP. I don't know if we can go back and amend the application. I wouldn't recommend it. I think doing a master plan is the right thing to do at this time. I'm not gonna opine, I guess, on anything else. I think this is really up to you guys to decide how you wanna go.
I don't disagree that it's probably the right thing to do, but
I
it's
agree
the right thing to do when everyone's on the same page.
How does this get resolved? Like, what's the path to resolution? Like, I wanna do this.
I think having a meeting with I think having, like, and I'm not, I wanna do the RFP, just so you know, I'm not like anti the RFP. I just wanna have the right person, I want a really talented person, and I'm not convinced these people are the right people.
So, well, that's just, I think it's a
But I think
conversation
going to the
now.
art advisory
Yeah.
committee and talking to them, because, you know, I think that's important to understand, like, because they don't have money, they're the art advisory committee for the town, they don't have any
Can you
cash to
explain,
spend.
is this an actual subcommittee or committee that's
It's
formed
an
by
actual
the town
committee,
committee?
it's, yeah.
Yeah, but
they
maybe
have
formed-
You
minutes
can,
and everything.
when you see the word advisory in the committee's name, it typically means they have no ability to appropriate funds.
Oh.
So they're not an
Right,
organization
that's
that gets money to spend, they're an organization that brings ideas back to the
Yeah.
But they
TC for
weren't,
approval.
but they were not a party to any of this work.
I don't know, I mean,
But
I just
They
assume
did
not.
receive the RFP,
I mean, just like for.
the chair
Yeah,
received it,
but-
she didn't distribute it, but
But
I also
for example,
can't make
for
any-
example, on the fields, you know, as chairman of the Open Space Tax Trust Fund Committee, advisory committee, you know, we sent a resolution in support of allocating those funds to the township committee of that. It would be nice to have the buy-in from all of the, I mean, just as a business owner, and the buy-in from all of the stakeholders that are gonna work in this umbrella.
Yeah, can I ask a clarifying question? Was it an RFP or an RFQ or something?
RFP.
Okay.
Is there a difference?
Yeah. Just for, in my mind, what would happen if we had to go back to the drawing board? I wanted to be clear what kind of an actual request it was.
Yeah.
So pragmatically, the board could adopt it tonight, could get the contract going, get it all signed off on, and then, you know, all the outside parties in town don't particularly like the result or don't particularly like the work product or what have you, and everyone would say, well, we're not really into that, we're not buying it, which goes to Ben's point. That said, if they all did and you approve this contract, then they don't have the ability to dictate the terms of how it's performed, if you follow me. Like that's
Yeah.
the buy-in is for the
Yeah,
idea, not for influence over the work product.
Correct, right.
So this is just an overview of the master plan. We're not voting it's just to accept their overview and their recommendations. This is not executing any kind of artwork, so to speak.
But
This
I don't agree with you, Jackie, on that. I have to say, like, cause it's like hiring a design director. The design director of J. Crew puts out their style boards, everything's out. This is the look, this is the feel for spring 2020. And basically, that's what this is. This is like going around, identifying sites, identifying, what might look good here, a sculpture, this, that, or the other thing. And these people have a taste level and they're gonna recommend placements of things. They're not gonna do construction costs. And so if you hire somebody who's a bad art director and not talented, then you're just gonna get a plan that you can't use and it's just a waste of money. So that's why I don't, it's actually a very important thing and I support having a plan.
I would
think
just,
it's first not
I
good.
would just wanna add that going back to other committees and outside parties for sort of a buy-in on this also would not reset the RFP process. That's something you would have to do, is tell
Yeah.
Steve, we reject all the applicants, please go back and try again to get more people involved.
And what would that, and Tom, just walk us through procedurally, if the board decided to take a breather on this and we wanted to re-interview people or whatever. Right now, you're approaching April 1st, we have to the end of the year. Can you just walk us through what the board's choices are
Well,
time-wise?
I can tell you what your choices are tonight, and
Yeah.
then Steve is probably better set to say what that means for timelines with any
I'm
response.
very concerned that I don't wanna lose I don't want us to lose, money or grant,
So
I just wanna make sure,
procedurally,
yeah, go ahead.
if you collectively decided you don't wanna vote on this tonight, you could just table it. You could, and basically kick it to the next agenda, and that would buy you a month of sorting out any of the kinks. But you would come back with the same result from the RFP, right? The same selection to vote on up or down, and you can still vote it down, you're not obligated to vote in any particular way, but it would be back on the agenda. Alternatively, you could vote it down tonight and kind of tell Steve, go back to the drawing board, issue the RFP again. That would set him back on a longer timeline than just moving it by one agenda meeting. And potentially you may not get the same applications, you may get better, you may get worse, you don't know. You don't know what you're gonna
There
get.
is a sort of a procedural in between, which is, we could say we're gonna table it this evening. But, cause what we're really talking about is the work product and then the consultant doing. And so you could say, the work product, the study itself, there are aspects of it which we either find less valuable or more valuable now that we've discussed it. It's a flat rate consulting agreement. We could say, you know what, that website component is actually not as important as we originally thought. We'd like you to spend more time on a different aspect. That consultant, it doesn't materially change the RFP. So we can go back to the consultants and say, we'd like you to change your contract to reflect a slightly different work product. That is not the same as Christine's question of, she does not believe that this particular vendor is qualified to do the work. From what I understand from what Michelle and Corinne have told me, 3 of the members of the committee were supportive of this consultant, Christine was not. So.
I don't think they listened, I'm gonna say something else, I feel very strongly about this. I requested to see portfolios of all these people, they refused to get portfolios, or even ask the question, or even to do a project, a quick project, which most design people will do for you. I mean, I'm expected to do that anywhere I try to look for a job. So that kind of bothers me, because I'm like, why would you not have a portfolio, an executionary portfolio of the work you worked on for this, this one woman claims she did all this work for the High Line. I mean, if she really, she has a great taste level, okay? If she did work for the High Line, show it to me, I wanna see what she did. I didn't get a portfolio, like, so I don't understand, why wouldn't you want to do your due diligence when you're spending township money to make sure that we have the best people?
It's not township.
Alright, I'm sorry, you are 100% right. I'm just saying, why are we not doing our due diligence? Like, why do we have to accept something? I don't understand why that question was asked.
But that's not necessarily true. It's in the day, money's fungible, it's all.
Yeah, but why
it's
wouldn't you want a
acquired.
portfolio? Wouldn't
But
you want
Christine,
to see a portfolio of an
Subjectively, I
architect?
agree, you get probably
Yeah.
happy, but I don't like that.
I mean, Christine-
Yeah.
Second on the money.
I mean,
You know,
Yeah.
Christine, I mean, is it, I mean, you obviously didn't like the consultant, you didn't like the presentation, you didn't like
Well,
what they
two of
were.
them, one of them was definitely an urban planner, okay, she didn't, so
No,
she
but I'm
was-
just saying, you didn't like the person that's on the table tonight.
she did not articulate in any way, like how her process would be in detail. Everything was very, sort of, generalized, and I didn't see her portfolio, so I would never hire somebody without seeing a portfolio.
But you do see her portfolio.
That's not a portfolio,
All right.
that's just a
Can I-
couple of
Jack,
pictures.
Can I make a suggestion?
I just wanna make clear that that's a different
Yeah.
issue than the two, well, either of the
Well, yeah, I,
Yes.
situations
I
that
agree, I
Steve was
agree.
talking
And
about.
can I ask one other
Yeah.
question? Jackie, you didn't have an opportunity, you interviewed the people?
No, we did not, we saw their presentations and Corinne and videotape was provided. And it was the recommendation of Corinne and Michelle that Julie Guerrero was far and above, much more comprehensive, much more in keeping with the confines and the scope of the RFP, and has demonstrated in my opinion, a robust deliverables with respect to public
There
art.
is another option we could consider, which is you could simply interview her again and ask her the questions you want answered.
I'm down with that.
I have a,
That works.
I have a, just wanna kind of bring us back a little bit. My opinion is that the concern here is not the mechanics of all this stuff, but people, selection, I mean, that's all, that's different level. That's like in the weeds kind of stuff, like, it's more like the governance side of it, like, I feel like that's kind of like where the resolution has, like. Who in the township committee was the mayor, was this other group? Who's the representative that we can just like, look, what is the problem you have with this? Let's resolve it. What do we get? Let's negotiate on a mutual solution so that we have buy-in from the township committee and we have buy-in from our group. Once we get past that level, you're right, we have the authority to do this stuff, and that's what we're gonna use our authority to do that stuff. But we're not even in that, we're not, like, I feel like we're not even there.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
agree with
don't even think I think you're missing the bigger point is what is the cohesiveness and the buy-in of all the stakeholders involved, from all of the people doing artwork. I mean, we have an art advisory committee and they're not opining on this thing, and to me, it's.
Well,
But I don't want that,
who is it?
But
They can't opine on who we hire.
Yeah, I think that's separate.
What you're talking about is step 4, which is whether or not they think a master plan is
Have
gonna be
they
useful.
reviewed who we're proposing?
They don't get to,
This
I
is
understand.
it's the board's decision.
I
But you're
understand.
saying like you could talk to them and see what their input might be.
But again, not on the hire, on the master plan,
The hire
whether they
is a
think it's,
separate thing.
cause
Hire's
what the board is effectively trying to do is do a service to the rest of the township by creating this art master
There's
plan.
no experts on this committee, okay, besides maybe me, like, and I'm not even my expert. There's artists that are on that committee, so I'm just saying to like, you know, we're making a decision with a limited expertise and, you know, and listen, if you just wanna do art and have Explore do it, I just think having 2 separate committees is not a good idea. So
But
I'll
I
support
don't,
either way.
but my understanding is that art, even though it's art advisory, you know, that in the past, that's not really what they do. Not that we shouldn't talk to them about it. I mean, I know that they do stuff in the library and
They
there's
did
artwork.
sculptures in front of the
Sculpture,
library.
yeah, I mean,
They
they do
consulted
some,
with Jackie on
they
that.
do some limited
So
stuff.
what about, so isn't this really fundamental, so like the mayor raised this email, he's got all his concerns, Steve Dretton concerns. I mean, am I to believe that there's, in the township committee, fence, like, how do we know that the township committee is okay with us doing, that they're okay with
They don't
this?
get to say they're okay with that. I just want, for
Well, I
legal
know it's not okay.
purposes,
It's
I
not
wanted.
okay.
Right,
It's
right.
not okay. I
We're
mean,
The bid-
determination.
I
the
used the
bid
wrong
is-
term, used the wrong.
The bid is an independent board,
I-
operates autonomously.
Just for this specific type of a
The
thing.
grant
Yeah, it's
was
for us.
was us.
I get it.
So I appreciate that the township committee
Yeah.
is involved and has voiced some, but that's the secondary. This is all about the plan. This isn't about what we're gonna do with the plan. This is about to move a plan forward and and accepting the professionals within our organization, their input to move the plan forward. The grant was given to explore, not to the township.
Agreed.
The-
You're right about that.
The Explorer is the one with the 501c3.
Yeah.
We're just looking at a plan.
But the
We're-
advisory committee is looking at doing a 501(c)(3).
But they're not now, the
No, I
five.
understand, but like, I get it, but who technically, who owns the land the sculpture gets put on? So technically, it's township owned land, so I'm
That's
just
not
saying.
necessarily true, you can put it on private property.
I'm just saying that like, it's just kind of like, it's like two groups fighting about something, and so
Christina, I
you know.
think you're a couple of steps ahead. And I
I'm
think-
always a couple of steps ahead, that's how I think, that's.
But
the
it's
way
not
I-
necessarily useful
Sorry.
in this current discussion.
No, this
Right,
is just
because
about the plan.
what-
This is
what
not about the
You
execution.
may very well be right, that there are too many organizations doing
That's
public
all I
art,
say.
but that's not really important tonight. That is a recommendation that could come out of this study to say, there are 3 or 4 different organizations that are doing public art. It needs to be consolidated, and the township committee should consolidate that.
I don't think I need to hire somebody to tell me that.
Well, it's one aspect
think-
of a larger master
I
plan.
think this is a different topic. I
Right.
think if we can get past the governance side of it, to me, it's like, maybe Steve can meet with the mayor and you guys resolve whatever it is you gotta resolve and come back and say,
That's all I'm just,
The
I'm
township-
suggesting.
but see, like, but then we move to your level. Then we move to the execution of what this is. That's up to us to decide internally and, vote on.
Well,
But we don't
still-
even-
that still omits Christine's concern over the consultant themselves.
Right, and that's,
Well, but we're not even, but I'm saying like, if there's concerns from the township committee that this is out of scope or all these other issues, like, we can't even get to that level. Like, forget about choosing
But,
people.
but the reality is, it is not out of scope. The bid is
No,
an
I'm not- no,
independent
no,
board
I'm
and
not-
operates autonomously.
No, no.
Jackie,
So-
I don't know.
No, I'm not, listen, it's not productive.
So,
All I'm saying is that, why can't you just meet with the mayor or whoever else is involved in that email? And just, can we just resolve it so that we wanna move forward with this?
I think it's.
What are the issues we need to resolve, move forward, then you come back, and we say, we resolved it, and then we get to the next level, which is what you're
It's
talking
just
about.
the same way that you just, you got a grant for 150K and, the town's throwing money in and it's like a little partnership. I agree with what you're saying. I know in a perfect world, you have every
It's kinda
right
like that.
legally. It's just that it's our whole town and there's so much disparate design, like issues all over the place, like HBC's not, consulted on things and then, the gateway was designed and it totally is not in keeping aesthetically with the rest of Taylor Park. So I'm just putting that out there because I believe in a master plan, Steve. I think it's a great idea. I think the way you did the RFP is amazing. I just wanna make sure we move forward that it's done so we can actually go out and I fully support putting as much art as you want to put out there. I think it's a great idea. So I just don't wanna spend money, with the wrong person. So I just like them to show more information, the candidates, and maybe get 1 or 2 more. That's all I was requesting.
well, procedurally though, what's involved in the RFP? You'd have to issue a new RFP?
Not at this point.
Okay,
And Tom certainly correct me legally, but as I hear it tonight, there are 2 action items. That the design committee will re-interview this civic-centered public art and ask certain questions. It may come out that the design committee no longer wants to hire them. That's okay, we can deal with that in another board meeting. But between now and then, we can set up an interview. I think the second issue is that Alex is talking about is, the mayor wasn't here, he's not here, to hear my responses. I don't know if that changes his opinion. If it does, great. If he wants to have a further conversation, we can do that as well. I think if we want to table this for 30 days and come back and say, those are the 2 action items, and then we can have a debate over it, that doesn't materially change the RFP process.
Yeah.
We can, and if the design committee, I think they should actually take a vote. Now that this has been brought up, if the majority want to go with this consultant, then that would be the recommendation.
That's smart.
And we can do that at our April meeting.
Who's on the design committee? I'm sorry.
It's Christine, Jackie, Eliza Barron from Home Instead, and Ruchi Bourgeois, who is with by design kitchen and bath.
Is this like the,
And
It's one of our 4 Main Street committees.
this is an advisory, it's kind of like an advisory?
It's a subcommittee of our board.
It's looking at our board.
Right.
So if they make it, wait, sorry, so if they make a recommendation like procedurally or resolution.
It's non-binding.
I know,
Yeah.
but like, it would be good to know, like, your support, people met, talked about it. Maybe, and not everyone agrees, but that's the way life is, and
Right.
you get a
And
majority.
that may assuage the mayor's concern. I may say, listen, they did the interview. Just for an example, it was a 3-to-1 vote,
Right.
majority takes it, and if he hears that, that might make him
You
feel
gotta make a
better.
decision, we gotta
You know, if he's concerned about
But,
process,
I mean, can I ask a question? I mean, I don't wanna put you on the spot. I mean, was that the situation?
Wait, I'm sorry.
I'm talking to you in terms of the design committee. I'm just trying to wrap my hands around it like Alex, you know, is talking. I mean, did the design, were you the holdout? I mean, were you the only one that didn't really like this person?
Okay, well, I think people felt, first of all, they were told who they were hiring, so the other people on the design committee, I don't even know if they watched the interviews, and they
Well,
were
I'm not
told.
asking, I mean, were you the one, I mean, did you not, I mean, there
Am
was
I
a
the whole-
design, no, there was
No, the
a
design
subgroup.
committee deferred to the expertise of Michelle.
Yes,
Okay,
they
that's what I'm
defer.
trying to understand.
They
Yes.
defer because they presented it in such a way, so some people get intimidated when something's presented
Oh.
in a way, no, it was presented in a way that we made a decision and this is who we're hiring, and then people were like, oh, okay, great. That sounds, I liked her the most too, like, so, you know, I think that maybe some people are like less comfortable to make a statement. You know, my personal thing is I think all 3 should be re-interviewed because with the same questions, because then you're basically, you're giving one person just because you liked her and she happened to be like all dainty and, you know,
Well,
whatever. I just think there was a lot of things that one candidate had in terms of expertise in, you know, AI sort of surveying for, you know, big part of his RFP is community survey before they actually execute on plan. And, you know, the other lady didn't really have the ability to do that. So, you know, that's why you might wanna try to find another
Right.
person.
well, Steve, I have, just to follow up with my question. If the board delayed 30 days, is it possible, to Alex's point, is it possible for maybe Jackie and you to sit with the mayor to understand his concerns fully and to give your, you know,
Yes.
your response to him
yes,
directly?
the mayor has not had a conversation with me.
Okay,
He sent that email that I read. I provided a response that was more detailed than tonight. Now, I also answered those 3 questions on the record. If he would like to have a further conversation, and clearly there was a lot discussed tonight that he's not aware of. So I'd be happy to meet with him and discuss it and clarify it.
I have another question, is this, and I know this is sort of independent, but just sort of kind of hear me out. Again, this is art that's displayed on the streets and all this stuff, like, how can we get the assurance that we are all, like, going in the same direction, like, the town,
well.
no, they don't have to support us, I get it, but like, just from a.
Well, that's part of the consultant's job, is to sit down and meet with these groups. That's an expectation that is listed in the RFP.
I got
The RFP says, meet with these groups, meet with historic press,
Right,
historical
and
society.
then make a recommendation.
Because
Right.
we wanna know,
Right,
right? That's the whole point.
so maybe this is a misunderstanding of sorts, but I feel like it's hard to go, it's just because of this nature of what this is.
If that was a concern of the mayor,
Yeah.
collaboration, had he called me and asked me, I would have explained that. He says he read the RFP. I don't know if he read this response, I don't know what he read. But the RFP is very clear about collaboration and interviews with the other groups, so.
And
It
Steve,
is.
also, is it possible, like, if we have a subcommittee of people interviewing, is it, I mean, I think it might be better if if the subcommittee has consensus as opposed to our staff having consensus.
Yeah, how does that work? What's the governance in that? How does it committee?
That subcommittee said,
Yeah.
go interview these 3 candidates. It's easier for the 2 of you who are on staff as opposed to 4 volunteers.
Right,
And we will accept your recommendation.
well, that's not, I mean,
They didn't say that though,
Well-
Steve, they didn't, I got to correct.
is there a better,
That was not said.
That was what was interpreted to me. I
No,
wasn't.
maybe you interpreted that, but that was not said.
well,
We actually had a conference call set up and they canceled it.
I'm aware of
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so that's not what was done.
Either way.
Is there a more like formal way of, how we vote on stuff? I'm just saying, like, it just, you know.
Well, why don't we start there? Why don't we re-interview the candidate with the 4 people that were on the design committee, and they can decide how they want to actually execute.
And can we say, can you set it up so that like, there's a majority vote or something like that?
From the subcommittee.
From the subcommittee,
That's the
yeah.
sub-
You,
And not
you can't tell the subcommittee what to do in that way, but they can do that for sure.
Yeah.
And I think
And
because
Jackie
some of them are
and Christina
here, they
both
will.
And Christine and I are both on that subject.
I'm just making a
I mean, I
recommendation.
think that would be easier for the board to interpret, you know, as
Yeah,
opposed to.
exactly. How do we?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier, I think, for us if the subcommittee puts forth like their
Exactly
recommendation.
what you're saying, exactly
Sorry,
right.
I said you were the most
So-
experienced person.
So Jackie, is it possible, because I think can I make a motion? Can I make a motion to table this for 30 days? Steve, and with the understanding that Steve will sit with the mayor and the team members to understand and to talk to them. And that the subcommittee could re-interview, and I'd like to ask the subcommittee for my vote, you know, have a consensus to not leave it to the
I
staff.
agree 100%. Wait, is the staff part of the subcommittee? Not following.
No, the subcommittee is what's mandated by our Main Street.
Right,
And.
Right.
and
not that.
No, there's 2 staff members.
There's
on the
2
subcommittee.
staff members,
Yeah.
but.
They're not voting.
They're not voting.
Who's voting?
Well, they voted on the person.
All right,
so
well,
I'm
just,
getting
I'm just,
confused.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
fresh. Start fresh. Who votes?
I don't know, I don't think it's been defined.
Jackie, Christine, and Eliza and Ruchi, who are 2 business owners.
That's 4
That
people.
shows
Yeah.
And had,
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot another
Liz,
one.
Liz Show?
no,
I don't remember.
5 people?
Lillian?
Lillian Show,
Lillian
yes,
Show.
5 people?
That's fine.
Yeah.
5
Got
people.
it. All right, so the majority of
Apologize.
the majority of this, is this legal? This is all the way it works, like.
Well, it depends on the motion, right?
Yeah, because they're a subcommittee, you're not on it, right? They're gonna make a recommendation to you as the board writ large as to what they think you should do. The form and function of what that looks like is something for the subcommittee to do, not for you to dictate. But if you make it clear that in order to get your vote, this is what they have to do, then you can do that. Don't put it in the motion, but you can make that clear.
We're missing like a layer here, like. Who's the leader of the subcommittee?
The 2 of them.
Who?
Jackie
Christine and,
Christine. They are your board
And I'm not,
liaison.
am I allowed to vote if I'm on the subcommittee?
You can
Oh,
vote
yeah,
on
okay, I
something.
wasn't sure.
I hear what you're saying, I just, like, who's gonna get back and say, this is what the vote was, it's all run down, like, Jackie?
That's their job. is
well,
voting.
or Christine can report on it and we can make a decision.
Right.
As long as there's like a process where you guys like figure.
Yeah, I'm new to it, so I.
So I'm gonna read Richard's motion, which we now have on the floor.
Okay.
We are going to table this contract discussion for 30 days with the intention of re-interviewing civic-centered public arts services by the subcommittee, as well as offer an opportunity for the mayor to meet with either myself and/or myself and Jackie to discuss his question.
Steve,
Can we add that we're
yeah,
gonna,
the other 2 candidates back in, you're giving somebody a chance. You didn't ask.
You don't have to, you tell me now if that's what you wanna do.
I mean.
You don't legally have to.
And nor do you
I know, but
have
I
to
want
put
the
it in
best
the,
person, I don't care.
you can also, the subcommittee can also decide if
yeah,
that's
you
what
guys
they wanna do.
Yeah.
just delegate something to
Jackie
you,
and
right?
I will discuss it then, okay.
Subcommittee can figure that out, why don't we come out with that?
So I have a motion by Richard Wasser. Do I have a second?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Just reread it one more
Read
time.
again. Oh, lost track.
So we're gonna table the contract between Explore and Civic Centered Public Arts Services for 30 days.
Yes.
Which will give the design subcommittee an opportunity to re-interview candidates, as well as offer Mayor Saccomanni an opportunity to meet either with myself or myself and Jackie to discuss his concerns. That may have not been answered this evening.
So those 2 things have to, those 2 things have to resolve, right? It can't be like one or the other, and we both of them have to resolve.
Correct. Well, we'll
Well,
offer the
it'll
mayor.
come back on the agenda either way, and if you're not satisfied that those things are resolved, you can either table it again or vote it down.
Got it.
And part of it too, at least for me, it sounds like for Alex too, is maybe some type of design team meeting with the art advisory committee and anybody else who's a stakeholder, and understanding what they want out of that process for a master art plan. To me, I mean,
Well, does the TC delegate this to them? I don't.
I'm not talking about
No.
TC delegating anything. If you're gonna do a master plan, you have to have all the stakeholders on the same page of what you want out of that master plan.
Are they the people that are like, have authority? I don't, maybe I'm gonna say.
No, we could do it internally, right? We could say,
Well, if you have a,
You could put them on
In
the
other words-
subcommittee.
yeah, I mean,
You could just get rid of the art advisory. I'm not, saying get rid of the art advisory committee, but theoretically, you could absorb them
why don't we do
into
this?
your world, Steve.
Why don't we take action
Yeah.
on this vote? And then you and Jackie and the committee can figure out how you actually wanna
Yeah.
perform that.
Right, I just don't want that to fall to the
100%.
side.
Yeah, and if you wanna have art advisory on, you could do that. If you know, maybe the most expeditious thing would be to reach out to those committees we've talked
Right.
about and say, give us 5 questions that you think are pertinent, and we wanna ask those.
Okay.
That might be the easiest way. of
and there's
having
nothing
some-
that, and there's nothing, once, if and when somebody is hired, there's nothing that would prevent, the people that we hire to take them into the umbrella
Yeah.
and to make them part of the process. I mean, that could be something that could be done,
And you could always, change the scope of the contract as long as the consultant is
So
okay.
change the scope of the contract and make sure they're included.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor by Richard. Do we have a second?
Second.
You just seconded your own
Call
motion.
board that,
All
No,
right.
that was out.
Oh, that was not yet. No, I think Richard did it too. All right, Jackie Lieberberg.
Yes.
Ashley never joined, correct?
Correct.
Ben Stoller.
Yes.
Alex Zoltzman.
yes.
And Richard Wasser.
Yes.
Very good. I will put an email together tomorrow, explaining exactly what happened.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay,
You still put
Public
executive
comment.
session, so you know.
I know.
public comment.
Forward.
When, the public is invited to provide comments at this point, please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Prepared statements may be sent to steve@exploremillburnshorthills.org. Please remember, this is a business meeting. Professional decorum must be maintained. If a speaker engages in disorderly conduct or disrupts the meeting, they will be asked to cease their comments. All questions must be directed to me, the chair. At the conclusion of public comment, members of the board may respond or ask staff or the attorney to do so. Staff and the attorney will not answer questions without a request from board members. Mr. Ceruto? Committeeman Ceruto, you have the floor.
Good evening, James Trudeau, lifelong Millburn-Short Hills resident. Just wanted to comment, a lot of healthy debate tonight, I think, and engagement, but I'm not here to comment on any of that. Here to comment about recreational opportunities for our youth in our community and our senior population and all those in between. I think that's an area that we need to continue to recruit for and to investigate. We used to have a movie theater in town. Surrounding communities have indoor, and now we do have an indoor golf facility, which I think is amazing. But expanding on those opportunities and looking to recruit more in that area. We obviously have fitness studios, right, that are physical. We have but other communities have arcades, other communities have indoor ice skating, other communities have rollerblading, other communities have fill in the blank. So I just think there's an area and a need within our population in town. Aside from our recreational sports, things that our community could take part in. So that's my recommendation, and I'd like to see that looked into. Growing up in town, I always had the movie theater. Years ago, we had a trading card store as well, which is right where Vinny's Pizza is now, right around there.
Second floor.
No, it's a-
Oh,
Which Verizon?
Oh, wasn't there one upstairs?
There may have been a couple comic store, there were, over the years, there were several different businesses like that. So aside from eating and shopping, right, and the great services we have downtown and consultants, I think, recreational activity. You go into town, you wanna go to a bar at a certain age, sure. You want to go and catch up with friends at a certain age, sure. But somewhere, we have great educational opportunities, coding, just throwing it out there. Okay, Strike, went out of business in Madison for the bowling, the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Maybe bowling alley is something,
Right.
but that's an area that I see, a gap,
Missing.
a gap in town. And just with a few seconds to go, I think, just to add on with the lighting committee, eyes and ears are open. We want to move quickly, but of course, eyes and ears are open. So thank you very much. And with that, good night.
Good night, people with shirts.
Good evening, my name is Jeffrey Feld. I basically have 4 points. Earlier this evening, you talked about the Main Street, New Jersey Library. And for you, board to review the articles. Can the public have access to those articles? Because I think it might help us to understand how the Main Street program works. My second point is, I'm shocked there was no discussion about the CETA dispute, about the 250 tile mural participants, how many tiles were allocated to people. I'm just shocked that there was no discussion about that. One of the main issues that I think, themes that we just heard about is like the jurisdiction, the oversight, and the interrelationship between this board and the TC. We heard the word independent, but this is a unique entity. Board members are appointed by the TC. 50% of whoever the executive director's salary is perpetually funded by the township. And the question is, because the monies are going in, and don't forget, the township committee has to approve the budget and has to approve the annual special assessment. To say that the township committee has no oversight, I mean, that's similar to like, I'm trying to understand the relationship, because in CETA, township says they have authority over that committee. And the question is, if they appoint members, does the township committee have the right to remove that person for cause? I don't know the answer. I think that might be legal for opinions for counsel for the SID and the counsel for the township committee, because I think that's a very important issue, and that was part of the debate. As to Bear Properties 3, one fact, I think certain facts should be explained to you prior to going to close the next section. We found out that last week, after we filed the case, that Judge Spencer was transferred to the criminal division. And to my knowledge, and I think it was confirmed by various other statements, she never entered all the final appeal was right of order. So we're in like this fantasy land where I can't take an appeal because she never entered the orders. Also, there's some of the cases she dismissed with prejudice, other ones without prejudice. That makes differences. The class of plaintiffs in Bear Properties 3 is expanded. There are other property owners from Upper Millburn Avenue involved in that case. Also, I submitted a standstill letter to the township and to you, your counsel, just to say, stand still, don't do it. Let's have a case management conference with the court. This township immediately wrote, they rejected it. I'm trying to say, mitigate, find out where we are. Also, you should look at some intervening case law from the Supreme Court that's came out since Monday. If I could have a few seconds to just explain to them. There's cases about qualified immunity, aiding and abetting, whether something's rightness. Today, there's a case about Oprah, about the state AG, and the captain of ship liability. And then really what it comes back to is, what are the fiduciary duties of the TC and the fiduciary duties of this committee? Because after I filed the complaint, there was a social media posting from Explore. There's questions about the factual.
Mr. Bell, we'd ask you to please wrap up. Thank you.
I'm just saying, just remember your fiduciary duties as members. You have a duty to investigate whether there were false hopes contained in the social media posting that occurred prior to the mayor's letter, email that day. Thank you.
Hi, Vicky Powell. My family's had a business in Millburn for over 40 years, and I've lived in Short Hills for 25 years, so my ties run deep. I'm here tonight because I'm frustrated, and more importantly, I'm disappointed. I've seen this community through strong times and challenging times, and I care deeply about the future. We have a business improvement district that shows up every single day for the community. They support us, they promote us, they bring people into our business districts. They help small businesses survive, especially in challenging times. That is their role, and they are doing it well. So I have to ask, why does it feel like they are always being challenged instead of supported? The recent situation around the public art plan is a perfect example. To Alex's point, as a business owner, not a board member, what I see in this is, instead of collaboration, a formal letter was sent raising concerns before a discussion took place. If there were concerns, why not start with a conversation? Why not bring everyone to the table and work it together instead of having an hour conversation here because the mayor sent a letter? Why aren't we speaking against an organization before we have a conversation? Because I feel this approach is overreach, and more importantly, it feels counterproductive. You cannot say you support small businesses while creating friction with the organization designed to help them succeed. And this is not an isolated issue. We are heading into April and we still have 2 SID board seats unfulfilled. 2, these seats matter because they represent the business community. The people who are here every day across all 5 districts, running businesses, creating jobs, and keeping the township vibrant. At the last township committee meeting, there was a discussion about encouraging volunteers and getting people involved. So I will ask this directly, why is the board not being prioritized? Why are these seats still vacant? Because from the outside, it sends a message. It tells business owners that we're not a priority. It tells us that our voices are not being heard. And after more than 40 years in this community, I can tell you that this is unacceptable. We are a backbone of this business districts. We bring people here. We create energy. We keep Millburn-Short Hills vibrant. We deserve partnership. We deserve communication. We deserve respect. Not politics, not division, not unnecessarily back and forth. So here is what I'm asking. Fill the open SID board seats. Support the SID in doing its job. And most importantly, continue to stand strong together as a business community. Because the goal is simple here. Thriving Millburn-Short Hills business brings strong business community and leadership that helps move forward, not hold us back. If you truly support the business community, now is the time to show it by working with the SID, not against it. And lastly, it would be nice if we get real-time updates from the police department about things that get closed, because yesterday Upper Millburn Avenue was closed and there was no notification sent out. It was ridiculous how to get back around. And those poor Upper Millburn Avenue businesses, I feel sorry for them because I would not be happy if that happened in front of my business.
That's Dave.
Thank you.
Dave Governor.
Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to make a public comment?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Perry Urso. If I could just be afforded an extra 30 seconds, going to the conversation when you're talking about hiring somebody for the arts program. And I know that that's obviously happening downtown, I guess, because Essex County, I'm not sure if that was just for the downtown designation. Just a question, has anybody considered, I understand that the contract was for 7,500. Did anybody consider possibly going to outreaching different colleges or the local colleges, Essex County, Seton Hall, that anyone's seeking to set up a internship and getting a couple college students to collaborate on that project for your master plan, what you were talking about, just a suggestion. Also, I wanted to ask you about, you had a presentation earlier. I'm just wondering, is the current SID website designer, I think it's New Frontier, do they also offer a similar type of program? And have they been, did you give them the opportunity to talk to them about this opportunity? And also I wanted to, couple things we talked about, local businesses and, supporting the businesses. Can you tell me how, or maybe Mr. Slattery or our chair, can you tell me how the posting, the Explore Millburn posting from March 19th, 2026, which actually singled out a specific family and a business. How does this align with your Explore mission statement that you actually spoke about earlier when you opened your meeting to the chair to promote growth and support local businesses? And I also urge that that particular incident be investigated, and your silence means that you are complicit to those type of actions, and actions should have repercussions. And also going to your minutes that you approved earlier, I just want you to know that I'm respectfully requesting that according to the recorded meetings, I never addressed the board. I never addressed that I am either a store owner, a business owner, a property owner. I never addressed the board that way. And I certainly never state that I am a litigant in a certain or participant in any type of litigation. So I think that your minutes should reflect appropriately, considering that it's on a recorded meeting. And I think oh, and also, it also stated in the minutes that there was some confusion. Clearly, there was no confusion because I was simply asking if the policy and procedures of your meetings have changed because there was participants during and were engaged during your entire meeting. And the people on Zoom do not have that ability to engage. And your attorney said that it is at the discretion of the boards, of the chair. So at the discretion of the chair,
Ms.
is the
Urso,
chair
would ask
being-
you.
I understand. I just said, if it's at your discretion, are you discriminating against Zoom participants? Thank you.
Is there anybody else on Zoom?
There's not.
Okay. May I have a motion to go into executive session to
Oh.
review? Oh,
Close.
no, I have to close, sorry.
No, if anybody wants to respond.
Yeah,
Oh.
I wanted to respond, but I who's gonna go first? I just wanted to
You go
make a
first,
couple,
go
okay, I just wanted to quickly, okay, so in response to Jeff's claim, on, and Perry's claim on the social media posting, I actually had a point of view completely separate to, what their statements were, but I had seen that social media post. And so I understand the town's in a lawsuit, and it's very contentious, okay, and that's a whole separate issue, but I don't think it's in Explore's interest or the township of Millburn's interest from a branding identity to be posting legal matters or fights with different storefronts, whatever, because it's like Bloomingdale's like saying, we're currently in a lawsuit with this Chinese factory that is doing like our cashmere, shawls, and posting it on like your homepage. And now granted, it wasn't posted on the website, but it's posted on a social media site that some random housewife from Summit or in Short Hills is gonna look at that, and it makes us look like kind of not good. And so I think we shouldn't be doing that, publicly outing people just in general, and it does put us at risk. That's all I wanted to say about that, Jeffrey, answering your question. And then, I'm sorry, and Vicky, oh, yeah, so no, you guys talk. Vicky, I just wanted to tell you, so from a collaboration point of view, like, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about, the delay and I completely understand your frustration because it doesn't show support 100%. And then in terms of collaboration, like the argument, I take full responsibility for having that discussion today and putting that out there and throwing that sort of division out there, but there was a purpose behind it because I wanted to intercept something that I think is a great and fabulous idea and just make sure that we make that final right decision so we have the best person. So it's not about pulling that back, at least from my perspective. I just want to have the best person, and if I take my time to spend 8 hours going through people's resumes and listening to their interviews, I want to be able to have time to make a say on it because I'm volunteering my time. So I'm sorry that it was contentious for you, and I want to support anything that makes the town better and that your revenue better. Okay, so I just wanted to say that, and then I did have a question, and I guess back to Jeffrey, I'm sorry. and I think maybe Steve, you could answer this in regards to the CETA tiles. I wanted to understand there's a lot of ads on those CETA tiles. Are those ads paid for by the store? Like there's people's stores, like Mamas and Minis and different stores on the 250 rural? Mamas and Minis, sorry.
Is not a store.
It's an organization, but
It's
do
a,
they,
it's a,
don't they take revenue in?
no, they're a 501c3
Right, so,
community organization,
got it.
and they are not, they
What
do
if-
not generate revenue.
But didn't we have I thought I saw a lot of other retail stores that it looked like a bunch of ads, so I'm trying to.
There are
understand.
no retail stores on the mural.
So, and what, there were tons of like other organizations that looked like, so I was
But
trying to
look,
understand.
first of all, this is an explore meeting, if you wanna
Well, there were
discuss.
Explore titles on it, so I was trying to
Yes.
understand that.
Explore is a 501c3, an organization that's part of the
But we're
community.
we're
We're
doing
not
something.
it's not self-promotion, they're part of the community. That was,
Okay, I just wanted to understand that because that all, like, different organizations are self-promoting, that's all, so that's part of it.
Mishpah is the Millburn-Short Hills Friends of the Library. If you'd like the full list.
Yeah, I would like it, thank you. And that's it, I was just addressing Jeffrey's comment. And that's all.
Mr. Grillo, do you want to respond to any of the comments?
Very, very briefly, Ms. Urso asked if the public art master plan is limited to the downtown. The answer is no. There's a difference, right? Main Street, Essex County, bid, so that's bid wide. And then she asked about the our website designer, New Frontier, if they've been part of the discussion with City Real. I mentioned that at the onset of the meeting, that yes, they have been.
Anybody else?
I have a question, so
By all means.
I just wanna make it perfectly clear, the conflation of Main Street, New Jersey and what Explore does, can you just opine on that again, so everyone understands that?
Sure.
Because I think it's worth noting that it's two distinct and disparate
Yes.
things.
So the Main Street New Jersey program is run by the Department of Community Affairs. There are 29 communities that are in that program. To be in the program, you have to have an economic development organization in the town. That could be a bid, it could be an economic development office, it could be a redevelopment agency. In our particular example, we have a business improvement district. When we originally applied, we went and tried to get Upper Millburn Avenue and downtown included in the district, so that we could get funding for those two sub-districts of our bid. The state came back and said, Upper Millburn Avenue, A, does not have the historic building quota that we're looking for in your downtown, and B, it's physically too far to walk between the two, and they wanted cohesive walking. So I originally wanted to put them in the boundary. The state said no. So then we didn't amend the application, we just redrafted it. Because it hadn't been
But that
submitted yet.
redrafting did not change the composition of the bid.
No,
Explore.
no, so we
I just
have
wanted
a,
that perfectly
right, so
clear.
we have a bid that has 5 sub-districts. One of those sub-districts, the downtown, is also a Main Street. So whenever we get Main Street funds, we can only use those funds in the downtown. However, you could use Main Street funds as seed funding to do a larger project. So we have we talked about the construction project on Millburn Avenue. In theory, we could have used some of it and used the Main Street allocation for downtown, and this town could have said, well, let's throw some more money to Upper Millburn Avenue or Chatham Road. So anything that has to do with the Main Street program is within the downtown boundaries. But that in no way changes the composition or the legal aspects of the bid. It's just that one sub-district of our bid has a special designation. Does that answer how it makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Any other comments, Mr. Slattery? Anybody else want to make any comments? Okay,
Is
then
there a
I'm gonna
need to have a
close.
motion to go into closed session?
Yes, a motion to close the public session, go into executive session. May I have a motion to proceed into executive session?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Since we won't see you, everyone have a great holidays, whether you celebrate.
Yeah,
Christmas
do
or
I need a
Christmas.
roll call vote to go into?
Just a voice vote, so.
Voice vote. All in favor? Any opposed?
All right, we have,
There'll be no public business afterward, correct?
there will be no public business after.
Good night, Vicky.
So then
Good
we.
night, thank you.
Just so that no one from who's watching or listening thinks they need to stick around.
So can we,
I can
close?
You
No, well, you can mute it and turn off the
We're gonna stay
video,
here, right?
but we have to technically go back on to close the
I'll be right
meeting
back.
after we go back in.
Oh, I see.
But no one needs to stick
We
around.
have two items to discuss.
Hold on, hold on.
Oh,
Great.
I just need a minute, that's all.
To reopen the public, I'm gonna make up who made the motion.
Okay, we're,
All right, I just need a motion to adjourn.
motion. Second.
All in favor? Have a good night, Millburn.
All right, Jared.
Night,
Good job.
night, Steve.
This is like a regular board of engineers, this is like.
You need to write